tournaments, you can't expect to perform well on all of these. But I think for Gambit, that's not even true. I think like no matter the tournament, no matter the game, Gambit is always bringing the heat on the server. And I think a pretty good example of that was the match against Navi in the CIS RMR finals. A match, well...
Didn't matter anything, right?
Didn't matter anything, but Gambit still brought it. So I think that's a pretty good example where like Gambit is they're just going to bring the heat every single time.
Yeah, and looking at his rating at the moment, it's 1.08, and he has a little bit of impact at the moment too.
Yeah, if we compare these two in-game leaders, Hooksy and Nafani, I think it's pretty clear that Nafani brings a little bit more firepower onto the server, and especially on those opening duels, he's always creating space for his team. I'm thinking of Vertigo. He's just being a nuisance for the other team, just rushing that A ramp, maybe going to the alleyway there, and always causing mayhem for the opponents.
Yeah, I think just to grab on the online stuff. I mean, Gambit obviously still has work to do when it comes to the LAN environment. They like you always kind of looking at Gambit in the last 18 months. It's been so amazing, and then in Cologne they were not nearly as good. So it's going to be very curious to see when LAN hits again with the major.
Yeah, and it's an amazing opportunity for them to get to the major and play their first LAN tournament with this roster.
Hey, listen, last time there was a PGL major, a team called Gambit won.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, okay. Leaking.
No same play. Oh, all right, Hobbit.
Hobbit was there.
Yeah.
Come on.
1 out of the 5. That's enough. Well, we are going to the map vetoes at the moment, so any predictions where we're going to land?
Yeah, Gambit's always banning that nuke, so I think that's a pretty clear sign for them. And as for Copenhagen Flames, they've been banning out Dust too, so I think the bans are pretty clear. As for the picks, that's where it gets a little bit more interesting. Gambit, I could see them going for a few different options, maybe an overpass, maybe a Mirage, maybe in a Vertigo, but this... Yes, as you heard, I mentioned a few maps there, so that just tells of the wide map pool Gambit has.
Yeah, they have the luxury of kind of going through Copenhagen Flames' map pool and look at the different maps, and look at what they feel is the weakness over there. So it's going to be interesting to see what they pick.
As for Copenhagen Flames, I think an Ancient. Yep, absolutely.
Oh yeah, we can enter the Ancient makes sense.
Well, yeah, Copenhagen Flames, we've talked about this already, but again, it's good to mention this in the semifinals. Maybe you have some new viewers, but Copenhagen Flames just absolutely banging out people on Ancient, just 80% win rate over 20 maps. So they play it out, and they win it a lot.
Yeah, and before these picks, I was actually about to ask you guys that when you're a team like Copenhagen Flames, do you play to the strengths of yourself, or do you just ban the best map from Gambit? And I think we just got the answer right here.
I mean, the Dust 2 ban has been going for them in other matchups too. So so far we haven't seen any surprises. Let's see how everything pans out for the third one. I would imagine for Copenhagen Flames, they go for an Inferno ban. Okay, I think an overpass for a third map would be okay for Gambit.
Yeah, again, just a luxury. Gambit can do anything here, and a third map, it's also kind of hard to see. Even though Copenhagen Flames, they do have a chance, maybe their best chance in all throughout this best of 3 series will be on Ancient, but even that. I think Gambit's playstyle is so good. It just fits every map. They can make it work on any map given. I'd be also interested to one day see Gambit's nuke, even though they have permabanned it forever. I think they'd be good also on that map, but hey, you can ban one, so you don't have to play 7 maps, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and before we go to the first map, which is Ancient, I do want to ask you guys a little bit about these choices at the moment. Does it look good for Copenhagen Flames at the moment?
I don't know if it looked any better or worse before or after, to be fair. They're the underdogs, heavy underdogs here. Gambit is like a machine. And they, like I said before already, they rarely ever falter against teams that are way below them. 15th is very good in terms of ranking, but Gambit is number 2 in the world right now.
Okay, and as Ancient is our first map on a pool, this is going to be a tough one. Good percentage at the moment for Copenhagen Flames. What has to go right?
I want to see them start off well here. To be fair, I want to see Javi bringing the headshots in, the same calmness we've seen before. Roy to be the contributor in steadily putting in a lot of ADR. But like I said, yesterday was a bit of a flimsy game from Copenhagen Flames. Like they needed heroics to get over the second map. So they need to have a better game going.
Okay, any quick words?
Yeah, of course. A quick start. That's what Copenhagen needs.
Yeah, it is going to be one of those games. And we do have some key points too. I'm going to let you shine on this one. Robu, take us away.
Well, not Lyngby Vikings, but Copenhagen Flames obviously has been really good, but Gambit is an elite team. There are just a handful elite level teams in the world, in my opinion, and Gambit is one of those. So it's a whole other level that Copenhagen Flames has to compete here. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about the test. That's like the word we've loved throughout this tournament. And this is just a whole new test for the Flames. And I think they need full focus in every round. Gambit is going to push you. They play that suffocating style where they don't give you many opportunities. When you get the opportunity, you have to be ready. You can't be sleeping on any single round, not even for a half a second, because Gambit will punish you. Yeah, so pretty much what you're telling me is that if Copenhagen Flames makes a mistake, there's a little bit of a chance for a snowball effect.
Easily, like yesterday, they managed to scrape through in 2-on-4 situations and the likes. We're not going to see any of that today, unfortunately, for them.
All right. So I think it's a good time to go to the predictions. Who gets what?
5 stars.
Yeah.
For a 5-star team.
Yeah, that would be great on, all kinds of platforms, be it a taxi application or whatever. Great to have 5 stars. But in this case, that's the only option you could really take in any reasonable way. Yeah, no madmen in the predictions now, and this is where I kind of hoped I could have maybe try to throw a curveball, but hey, it's Gambit. You just can't predict against them.
Yeah, and as we rated the match a 5-star match, I'm going to throw it to our casters. Guys, have a good one with this one.
Well, I can't disagree with too much being said on the desk there. A 5-star match for a 5-star team, and a match that probably should go the way of Gambit pretty easily, Dweg. I have some hope. Again, I have that 5% that makes me think that maybe Copenhagen Flames might pull off some magic. But ultimately, when it comes to logical thinking, Gambit should probably have this in 2-0.
Hey, they've done it before, right? We look back at that Snow Sweet Snow event in the second cup, right back in, March this year, so it's a few months ago. Nikoidos is still a part of the team. Yavi was too. They got the upset. That's probably the only time this year Gambit's been upset, right? Other than that, they've been winning a lot of events. They've been getting grand final placements. And pretty much the only games they lose is against Tier 1 opposition. So here for Copenhagen Flames, even though you want to have a bit of hope and you want to try and ride the underdog, this is just a match. You just can't think that at all.
No, I mean, again, if this was like an upset it happened in the last 2 months or so, then I'm like, okay, well maybe Copenhagen Flames can do it again. Yeah. They could do it before. It was all the way back in March, and Gambit have come such a long way. Even back then, they were still sort of like in a bit of a weird position where, yes, they had won tournaments like IEM Katowice and such, but they were still not like definitive. I don't think a lot of people looked at them as a true Tier 1 team, at least not in an official capacity. So seeing them sort of come out in that sort of tournament, you could sympathise in retrospect. In this one, there'll be no excuse, I think, for Gambit to lose to Copenhagen Flames. Copenhagen Flames have been great. I'd argue they're a better team compared to that old side that beat out Gambit. But Gambit have just done so much great work against the Tier 1 opposition. They haven't taken on Tier 2 teams, which could leave an element of complacency involved. But for a second-place team in the world, you don't get that far without defeating some staunch opposition and absolutely trouncing on Tier 2 Spice.
Yeah, and I even look at this map of Ancient, and while it's great for Copenhagen Flames, 16 wins, 4 losses in the last 3 months, what's the best team out of all 20 of those teams in Tropic, right? A team that is not even up to the caliber of Gambit. They have not faced a single Tier 1 team in those 20 maps. So even though their win rate's fantastic, they've got a lot of victories on the board, it's not to this caliber. And we said that in the Havu game, and look at what happened there. Gambit got 10 rounds on the T side on the first map, 12 rounds on the T side on the first map. Their T sides have been impeccable.
Absolutely. I think there's only one little real option that Copenhagen Flames can utilize to get back into this series, so to get something in this series. It would be on our first map of Ancient, but even then, I'm still rating Gambit to probably take it overall. So the best thing you can do is just find out how far this one goes as the pistol round for our second semi-final set to go live.
Definitely Roy is going to have to be the standout player. 8th highest rated in the entire event, average 1.23 rating. And knowing he's a veteran, knowing the team they're up against, that's going to be a guy that we have to look at for Copenhagen Flames. For Gambit, I'm looking at these Julies, Jay.
Yeah, finally taking the Berettas out. Playing those in towards the K position with a crossfire of Shiro on the CT start for the Gambit side. You expect them to be able to get a decent start in the first half for them. Set and ready with the crossfire held. Copenhagen Flames will look to grab that bomb and try to push it into the mid control, but will they commit through mid towards A? Will they try and backstab towards B? Will they get towards lane and go for the set piece? Passive control, first contact from Hobbit, will actually lose his first blood.
Oh, they do see the bomb, so that's information gathering coming on. Nafani going to peek out with the Julies. Does get traded pretty quickly for Ziphon, and even deals with Shiro, the young man doing work in the early stages.
All right, good picks in for Copenhagen Flames. A 2 versus 4 against the Gambit favor. Copenhagen Flames back out to the back lines here. Got the Inters being the only man on the B defensive. Got smoke and flash, no Kevlar. You have to wait here for the T side to make contact, and Copenhagen Flames are still slowing this down.
And they've got a lurk for Yabi out to this A main position, so if he starts walking out, he's going to get the idea that this A bomb site's completely clear. The one section of that information that won't quite come through is just where that donut player is of Axel.
Might be one player that could get caught off guard or could do some catching off guard. Snuck their way into the back of the site, though. He's got to engage directly onto Yabi. Hearing the footsteps out of main, swing upon, USP does land that frag somehow, turn back on Ziphon, and just like that, Axel's put it back to a 2 versus 2. If he can deny Hooksy right here, ran to within from the Inters, try to look for his bomb plant position, he can't quite catch it, and no, Nico Odos holds that kill, the bomb will just get planted by Hooksy. Axel's found his 2 frags though, he's got 2 more to get, can't land that headshot, flash keeps him blind, and Hooksy will just hold the round, the pistol for Copenhagen Flames.
That whole round was a recovery, really, for Gambit. We saw Ziphon getting a couple of kills in that lane position, Hooksy starting off, and Axel doing as much work as he can in that donut position, trying to slow the timer. Hooksy's able to get the bomb down before that wrap comes into Inters from CT spawn, and while there's a lot of time wasting going on and there's a fair bit of success with some of the duels, it just doesn't quite come up. Hooksy getting away with a couple of kills, Gambit not getting the start off, Copenhagen Flames from the pistol.
Nicely placed again. Decent kills to open things up, and of course to scrap in against the likes of Axel and deal with him. He was the big thorn in their side. You mentioned his lurk out towards Donut, but it ultimately came down to just frag potential as opposed to positional advantage. SMG's in on a rebuy back for the CT side, as you would expect. The force investment is in. Copenhagen Flames have their AKs and MAC-10s out for round 2. And again, careful passive placement from most T-side players.
And Nicodos just waiting for a jump spot, just a mistake to come out from this lane position. Up to ramp into the site. No damage coming through onto Nicodos itself. Crossfire being set very similar to how it was in the pistol round for Gambit and Cheetah.
Moving up for Hooksy into the Cows position. The SMGs of Shura and Nafani here in Cave and Cheetah, still expecting T-side players to make their way in. Roy out with a MAC-10 trying to get out of position. Join the main hit site for Copenhagen Flames. The bomb's out towards the doorway. And again, they're so slow and so passive with this.
Yeah, it all comes down to this candles play. Yabi even just jiggle peeking. Re-smoke going down to ramp with less than 40 seconds left. That's going to start scrambling. The teams are going to push through that smoke, deal with the first player.
Finally, he's back with the MP9 here was Cave, smoked off position. SMG Vashira still ready for Yabi, but doesn't win the fight against the MAC-10. The Varney should be known here. There's not against the kill and against the first man, not quite the second. Ziphon there with the trade. AK gets involved, the bomb will go down.
Gambit's going to hold on to the last couple of weapons. There could be a hunt that comes in from Hooksy. Decent mid-wrap for him just to be able to get the information to send that bomb over to the B site. The entries come through well. Only Yabi's the one to fall. And something to think about, too, for Copenhagen Flames is even at the RMR, because the majority of games that they played was best of ones, you're not going to get Ancient out, are you? If any of those teams are doing homework against you, they know that you love Ancient. So the only opportunity they had of trying to get Ancient out was in those best of threes, and it only actually came in that one series against Movistar Riders, where they got 4 rounds on their T side in the first half, 4 rounds on their CT side, and pretty much got mopped on their map pick. Gambit been slow to start. Copenhagen Flames looking comfortable in the early stages.
Yeah, 2-0 to begin things. I'm going to keep on down that particular path. Gambit don't really have much buy potential here for round 3. The 2 save weapons are going to be important for firepower reasons, and of course the head Kevlar is also an extra bonus. Yeah, this should be easy pickings for Copenhagen Flames from here in this one. Gambit looking towards those early rifle rounds. And it's a good start for the Danes, you know. They want to hold their map pick in high regard. They want to hold an early start to get that map pick in high regard. Take away CT bases for Gambit could be everything. Matt tends to rush straight forward, try to get the money out here in this particular round. Roy takes his own teammate out though, so 4 versus 4. UMP of Axel can strike onto him and punish him even further, so advantage for Gambit, and the T's might back off.
This is looking promising for Gambit on the eco. They've been able to get themselves a man advantage. Hobbit's now making an aggressive move. Might even be able to catch off one of the window players.
No, he won't. Back turn towards Hooksy, and Hooksy trades it back to a 3 versus 3. Gambit must be aware now that there is a lot of lane and window presence. McTenniff and Afani gets killed off by Hooksy, doubles up, can't quite make it a triple. Shiro comes in with his frag, and now the bomb can commit. It's going to go towards the B site rather than rotating here. Nades in, Shiro will take some damage, can't go ahead of the Molotov. Both players have AK, so firepower works well in the favour of the T-side line, and Shiro's about to learn that. Decent damage done, though, by the Gambit side. 3 players down, no investment taken, so sets them up nicely here for the Rifles.
And now keen to see what Shiro can do. Again, highest rated player in the RMR, put on a positive 105 KD differential in the 11 maps that he played. And even against Havu, we saw just how consistent he could be, scrambling the opposition in every moment of call, being able to be incredibly on point with some of the flicks. And this is something that we have to expect from Gambit, is Shiro to perform.
Smoke set to Hobbit's position. He's going to be first contact. Dagged up initially. Flash forward. Then he gets Hooksy nice and efficiently. Doubles up as well onto Zippon. Well played.
Very cheeky. Not expecting that at all. No one playing anti-flash. And that's a play that just catches the T's off guard. Shiro's waiting for a walk up at this ramp position. AWP does get baited by Nico Odos.
A good shoulder peek. On the finally seen Yabi. Yabi can't get a frag. Gets close towards it, eventually isolates that headshot, wins out that one individual. Meanwhile, I'll push up for Axel, will try to take Hobbit's position back, and Yabi's going to read it and all. Axel will not be able to find a pick in, he's going to just wait back here, knowing that there's only really one thing that they can do and rotate through mid with such heavy lane presence. I'm starting to run short. Axel going to adjust against the likes of Roy. His back's turned though, he's going to wait. He's just going to wait, look for anything more, just take the execution frag as soon as he sees that bomb carrier. If he sees him at all, he's a bit late, gets the kill, not ready for Nico Odos though.
Yabi snuck his way into CT spawn. Now they knew that he was somewhere around here, and it's being pre-aimed from Inters. Yabi gets another pick. That's 3 for him in this round, and Shiro's left a clutch.
I know they did that damage towards him. Shiro doesn't even need an AWP per se to win this particular fight, but takes his shot, misses. Smoke, of course, getting involved for Nico Odos and Nade to drive Shiro away. And in the end, he just falls back to save with no kit and no utility. It leaves it very unlikely that he'll go in for any sort of retake setup. Copenhagen Flames without the first gun round as well. 4-0 to the start here for the Danes.
Yeah, it's one of those rare chances where the trigger discipline actually works out not fantastically. Like, it works the other way. Because you'd have to imagine for Axel, if he just gets that kill in straight away, then the bomb maybe starts getting frantic. He can adjust over to that left-hand side. There was just so much spacing between the 2 players. He's waiting for more. And it doesn't happen eventually. And those couple of picks to come in from Hobbit was the start to the rounds. Yabi having a good sequence himself, and Axel just getting that one instantly traded. Copenhagen Flames relying on Yabi to make this round possible.
Tactical timeout taken by Gambit here into round 5's freeze time. Appropriate to do so here. They have not gotten off on the confident start. They have struggled throughout the course of these first 4 rounds. For a CT basis, they need to turn that around pretty quickly here. We'll go in for the rebuy, of course, to save weapon out. 3 M4s, 1 AWP. Hobbit probably going to have to be taking the mantle of the FAMAS, and indeed he will. So guns will be back in for Gambit, but they need to get rounds.
That's very true. And for them, they'll know themselves, we need to step it up. They've been slow to start, haven't quite been able to find a lot of opening man advantages. Hooksy's calling this game decently on this T side. That's all about trying to see if they can just put as much pressure on the T side as possible, because for Copenhagen Flames, their CT basis is really where we get excited from them.
Yeah, Gambit needs to take as many of these rounds away as possible in this first half, and they struggle to get that first kill in on Yabi. Hobbit can get the trade at least. That one's in at lane. Ivan is going to clear that position. So Hobbit can grab an AK if he so desires. Hooksy takes a lot of damage as well to the Molotovs. So overall, a respectable start here for Gambit. 4-on-4 with HP advantage.
Yeah, their flash assists have been on point to this mid position. Inter's just trying to hope for a spam, get as much damage in as possible. Oh, we've got an info play. Hobbit's lurking. This is going to be able to get them into the backside. He can go all the way to the B stairs. They're not going to expect this.
Problem's going to be the firepower, though, for Mars. In his hand, did not opt to go up to the AK, but he could still find tons of information, at least, if not a couple of kills with their backs all being turned. Here at the B doors, Nico Otis is exposed. Seen. Hobbit. It's going to keep creeping. Will he see that bomb carrier just taking Nico Otis down? Get that frag. Difference just lining up utility. They had no idea. And now the whole round falls apart for Copenhagen Flames. They're finally with the latest kill. Looking with a double on Roy, and he'll get it as well. Hobbit with a triple. What a great lurk.
And these are some of the expectations we have from Gambit, is they're going to be able to make info plays. They're going to be able to outread you. And in that one right there, Hobbit is able to extend with the trade frag, go all the way down into elbow, get in from behind them. They've gamble stacked. They've rotated everyone at B. And Copenhagen Flames, not even to have the awareness of one person just looking in the backstab in case that's a possibility. They had no idea.
Didn't believe Gambit would go that far, but they did. Tactical timeout comes in for the Flames. Their first one called in this matchup. Appropriate, so they can't keep making mistakes like that. You know, smaller mistakes are going to be punished by Gambit, so bigger ones like that one need to be counted out immediately.
Yeah, for Gambit, just knowing they're on a very solid winning streak. 7 games in a row. Forza and Unique, Indy Ray, VP, yeah, a lot of these games did come through in the RMR. Entropic in the playoffs, Na'Vi 2, and then Havu yesterday. Now you have got some staunch competition in the list of them. Gambit being able to find their first round. Copenhagen Flames, got to wonder how they're going to respond. More presence over to the A side. Haven't seen much over here so far.
Theme of the day, really. Not a lot of presence in the last nation we saw earlier in the semi-finals. Now towards the B side mostly, including Shiro's aggression, finding Roy, but taking that only player out of position. Hobbit has seen the AWPer flashbang off, with smoke down to suppress. The incendiaries all coming from the T side line. They'll still push forward to the marker. No flashbang over. Yabby still wins that one good fight. Axile in here towards donut entrance. I set AWP in as Shiro going to try readjust it, but Copenhagen Flames actually start the retreat. They're going to back and rotate.
It's actually a decent call to just back off. They haven't used a crazy amount of util that they're going to go into a B-side XE late into the round with nothing to work with and be dry. They've actually got some backing. Hobbit getting forced out from the big box position. You can see he's just trying to create an off angle, try and see if he can bait and switch with Axile. And Copenhagen Flames, at least Yabby's the one again to make an impactful kill.
Uxie. They're moving with the Deagle. Shiro going to try and make his way into the mid control. He's got no direct vision onto the T side just yet. He's then pretty far out. Ziphon might give him what he wants, though. Both these players here on the boost down to the ground floor will start making their moves in. Shiro's going to try bait them in very, very deep before he gets that kill. And Ziphon falls immediately. Great reaction.
Now, Huxley's able to get a trade, so there's still a way that they can start moving into this A side. They don't know about the other player in Donut.
Another 2 players coming out of main. PT50 against him. Shiro somehow lands a tag on towards Yabby. Looks in for the AWP frag. Axel gets a kill when he into him. Shiro can't make it a quadra just yet. Eventually he gets his opportunity, and he will do so just like that. It's 4 rounds to 2. Gambit bring up a second.
Copenhagen Flames needed a bomb plant in that one because now their economy's just getting wrecked after that. Shiro opening the round off with an aggressive opening kill, getting into that lane position. Yabby gets a trade back onto A, and Shiro just not really being phased, was he at all, up on that A side. A lot of success coming in. Axel backing him up, and Copenhagen Flames running that timer too low, struggling with the entries. Gambit make it a second.
Again, very nicely done from Shiro, who apparently played that round with no sound. His headset dies. We're in a tech pause to go ahead and quickly fix that up, which I don't know if that's even more impressive or what. But either way, it's going to be a second round for Gambit, and they can be happy with that. It's a much more solid position in comparison to where they were at the 4-0. And the money's not great for Copenhagen Flames. There's opportunities that Gambit can now make up some of that ground that they lost early. The Glock should be out for the T side, and I don't really see another investment coming in from the Flames.
I've got a little fun fact about headphones, Jay. There was an Australian player, Imagine, that played on Immunity at ESL 1 Katowice at the major, has his headphones on the wrong way around. So the left sound is in his right ear, and the right sound is in his left. So where's the headset backwards?
That's weird.
It is weird. What else is weird?
Since we're on the topic of sound, and obviously, you know, for those of you who might not be aware, I studied audio engineering. Did you know that in the worst case scenario, you can actually use your headphones as a microphone?
How does that work?
Literally, like, basically, a microphone is basically the exact same build as the headphone, just in reverse.
Right.
So
really,
if you plug it. So if you can try this as well, by the way. If you plug your headphones into the microphone jack and just try speaking into the headphones, it will work. It will sound like crap, but it will work.
Mind blown.
Not a lot of people know that, actually. I'm kind of surprised.
That's why my mind was blown, mate. No idea. I know about the success of this round, though. I see a P250, so I don't see much.
Yep, should be Gambit easy pickings. Hooksy catches Hobbit off guard. He jumps out of the way. Unfortunately, he maintains that. And they was about to put paid to the idea that we just should write Copenhagen Flames off in this round. Fortunately, Gambit recovering. The AWP out for Shiro takes a dink as well. They're landing some pretty respectable shots here, Copenhagen Flames. No kills until Ziffon finally finds one in mid, but it's won that good trade, and Hobbit able to respond towards that with the same. Shiro still working in towards B site. He'll get his second frag. Gambit with that third. Copenhagen Flames now to the bye.
That looked as if for a moment they were actually going to be able to get a couple of picks. Axile falling, Hobbit down low. Doesn't quite happen, so they're able to keep a couple of those AKs in play for Hobbit and Inters. And so far, we haven't yet to see the supportive player of Inters put a kill up. It's been everybody else being able to get the heavy lifting. Roy, too. It's kind of surprising to see him down 0-1 and 6 because we've been singing his praises over the course of this playoffs of being such a great player on T side from them. A lot of entry kills, getting into the mix and putting up numbers. Slow to start here.
Shiro's AWP has been a very effective element for Gambit thus far here in this map. Even though it was a little bit slow in the early couple of rounds, it's still going to come up good with 7 kills. Nafani comes up with his frag onto Nico Odos. Starts things off on the right foot by picking up that OD start. Nafani's down at 5 HP though, so he's got to get the AWP back in his hands.
Yeah, Hobbit hasn't been able to see a massive amount in mid or hear anything. Hooksy making another walk forward into this Candles position. Hobbit's got a great advantage in this peak. Hooksy doesn't quite check it, so 5 on 3. Copenhagen Flames falling apart in round 8.
Sprays through, trying to catch blind kills through smoke. Ziffon will get one, and Roy catches the Nafani, doubles up on the Shiro, and just like that, the round gets built back up by Copenhagen Flames. Inter's looking for Ziffon, still yet to get his first kill in the round. Just waiting for someone to extend here, waiting for that player to make his way back in from lane. But Flames have locked out Gambit here, there's no way in.
Yeah, Inter's just waiting for that wrap to come in from Ziffon. It all just comes down to a matter of timing. And Ziffon's not moving at all. Inter's is just hoping that that opportunity is going to present itself. This is going to have to be a save to come in for Gambit. And, geez, you had a look at Nafani being on low HP. He gets the AWP over from Shiro. And the B players just really struggle in that 5 on 3.
Yeah, that was not great for Gambit, and they'll make it even worse. More players going against their name. They do lose all 5 for Copenhagen Flames. To Gambit make it an expensive round. They recover that AWP. The lead could extend for the T-side line.
Yeah, that was a very good recovery. We saw Nafani going aggressive with the AWP out of ramp. We saw Hobbit in Candles getting the 5 on 3. And then Roy just gets a double entry onto the B side. Ziffon's able to get a trade. Yeah, great transfer. Much better there from Roy. And having a high impact round that finds them their 5th.
Again, to extend the lead against Gambit. Of course, the rebuy will be in for both sides. And despite Copenhagen Flames winning out their 5th round, we've got Galils and a Deagle. Shiro, with his AWP out towards Donut, trying to press in towards that mid control. Copenhagen Flames recognizing they're on the back foot, so they're going to go back into this standard passive default that we've seen from them time and time again so far in this map.
Yeah, seeing some slight reposition. So Hobbit was playing a lot of Candles. He's now coming into Cheetah with a teammate. So some variation with the setup for Gambit, looking to see if they can get away back in. And it is unfortunate to think that Copenhagen Flames won such a great round in the last and just, they don't get reset. Obviously, they get knocked back with the buy that they can actually bring forward. It's not pretty.
$55 seconds to the clock. Copenhagen Flames starting to walk their way into the setup here towards the B site with one lurk out from Ziffon out towards mid. Still sees nothing though. He might challenge from Candles, and that would leave Inters in a bit of a bad spot.
You'd have to imagine every so often Intis is going to be checking that. Copenhagen Flames going for the ramp. Take a lot of players here for Gambit to defend.
Hobbit's out in the open. He's going to be first pickings. Gets back out towards Wood. The Molotovs fade away. Hooksy tagged up. There's the kill in easy for Hobbit. 20 seconds, and they've been stalled right here. Trying to look for those wall bangs somewhere through the wood. Yabi takes face for it. Could also end up getting lined up. The boost up here for Nafani. Gets both those kills. Drops that bomb. Zifon and Nico Odos. Two-pronged attack in from the back and front lines. Axel's already watching here. That Molotov will be seen. The ban goes down. Nico Odos is Deagle to dream on in this matchup. It's the fourth to the board of Gambit.
And just some of the hesitation there for Copenhagen Flames. They molly Wood. They force Hobbit out. And then they go after the molly is already done. So Hobbit can just move back into the position. Yes, they at least pre-aim it. It sets up the crossfire, though. And those are the slight adjustments that Copenhagen Flames needed to make earlier in the round, is committing with the full util rather than just waiting and having a lack of information.
Eco basis. Now for the Flames, the forced invest, the damage being done by Gambit, coming back to bite them on the Danish side. Again, no investment, the clock's out. Get a bomb plant, that's their focus in this round. Even then, they're still left it pretty open, so they're trying to find their option, find their angle into the site. Faced in from Hobbit as he looks for the T side, but can't see anyone as of right now.
He's just waiting for that cross, isn't he, for the T's to get up to that window position. Spots out the first player, does take some damage to the Glock. Deke coming in long range, looking in for more, and it's easy pickings. May have just spotted that bomb, a shoulder.
One engagement from Shiro finds Roy. Axel continues firing away towards that main entrance. It's Intis and Hobbit that clean out those last couple of frags. Hobbit makes it a triple. And good shooting from Copenhagen Flames. I mean, they didn't get a pick in this round, but if you heard it there, Hobbit took a dink. So the accuracy from these weapons are pretty good, actually. The issue is, of course, it's not enough to get the kills themselves on those Glocks out. Gambit can equalise to 5-5, and the guns can go back in for Copenhagen Flames. Let's see if they can put the accuracy to effect here with 5 AKs instead of 5 pistols.
Yeah, it's going to have to come back to them charging forward, getting some opening man advantages. Zifon's been very successful in mid for the last handful of rounds. Copenhagen Flames, got to wonder what the setup's going to be, knowing that there is no AWP for Nikodos to work with. Roy getting spammed real heavy.
And Intis might have heard that as well. I think he would have caught information on the tags, and the finally just continues spraying forward, eventually catching that pick. As Gambit, call it luck or good reading, it's going to be a kill regardless. Intis ready for even more. Gapping that smoke spray still against Yabi. Now knows of 2 individuals. Doesn't quite find any further picks, though. It's just that early one done to the Copenhagen Flame side. And the damage returned by those cheater players, not even that much against Intis.
Yeah, beautiful patience for Intis. He could have overextended, looked for a further fight in lane, do some damage and get out of there. Just put that flash down, can even re-smoke. Does get caught by a timing of Yabi, but the smoke goes down. A minute left on the clock, and Copenhagen Flames, it does look as if they are edging B. They've still got an elbow player.
And flashes over Shiro trying to look in. Nafani's going to make his move up with the M4. Yabi seeing Nafani. He's going to wait. Could sneak into the bomb site right here. The CTs, but I think they're completely cleared up at this position. Hearing scopes. Hobbit, not checked. Nafani goes down as well. And that patience is a virtue for the T side. Shiro suppressed with the AWP outside of the site. The bomb will try and go down here. He does hear Hooksy. It's a bit of an open plant position. Can't find him at the edge of the smoke. Just got to leave it to go down. Try to set up the retake here. But Axel's not even going to rotate towards him. So Shiro's got to do this on his own.
Just look for extra kills, honestly, for Shiro. Try and see if anything's made of this. This round's not looking likely at all. Zifon's even got a backstab into CT spawn, so the rotation path is going to be difficult for Shiro. Does at least catch him off.
An escape dodge as well. Yabi heard that scope. He knows that he's out there. Wallbang's attempted by Hooksy. He's going to evade it. But knowing there's not much left in this round, it's bracket in from Axel, who will try and look for the exit frags. The rotation's away. He's missed Hooksy. Might catch Nico Odos. Nicely done. Going to go shot 2 versus 2. And Yabi will also fall towards Shiro. So again, an expensive round for Copenhagen Flames. They do hold the lead, but it's a lead that's come with severe effort and severe sacrifice.
Well, one element of Copenhagen Flames' T side that's really impressed me so far today, Jay, is the confidence, and they don't look nervous at all. Like that round there for Yabi, you're facing the second best team in the world and you're trying to make a trigger discipline play. Surely in the back of your mind you're thinking, oh, this might be red. I might swing out here at Cave and I'm going to lose the fight. No, they're playing the Counter-Strike they know best, and they're not adjusting too much to what Gambit want them to do.
Smoke's on, Molotov's out, Hobbit with the M4. It's Roy that finds Inters to kick things off. The opening frag. Sprays through from Nafani, looking to try catching the wall bang onto Hooksy. This time he's going to return the favour away, dishing out a bit more damage of his own. Shiro's AWP will find a kill on Roy instead. And they'll escape that dodge. The Molotov in towards Cave is going to force him back.
Now, we could see another info play coming through as an aggressive elbow stance of Axel. Oh, Ziffon's actually waiting for it. That could be punished. Oh, timing.
All down the positioning. Axel's going to see Ziffon though. Get that kill in for the CT man advantage once again. Slight gap in the smoke. The Hobbit's going to try and abuse. Blind fire. Try to stop that bomb plant from coming in. It won't be successful though. It's retake on for Gambit. Advantage for them. Axel's got to get this backstab set up to try and make good use of it. The 3 players coming in from the back lanes. Going to be a bit more tentative about their peaks. Hooksy starting to move in against Axel. Smoke clears and he spots him. Quick flick to the head. Back to a 3 versus 3 will go. And still Nikoronis is rocking a deagle. It's not the best weapon for this. Smoke on towards that ramp position. Yabi's going to try and get isolated. Big gap in that smoke. They're going to fight on towards Nikoronis. And Yabi still sat back over at the box. Shiro kill. Yabi with 1. Not quite that second. Nikoronis trades back to a 1 versus 1. AWP VM4. Diffuse kit on the man. Finds his angle. But Nikoronis with the flick keeps control of the round for the Flames.
Copenhagen Flames, this is what, the 3rd or 4th time we've had 1 or no player staying alive. Another clutch has to come forward. And sometimes when you're the underdog team, if you have to clutch almost every round or the rounds are close, as long as you're getting the rounds up there, you're going to be happy. You're putting more on. You're trying to get that pressure on. We see that post plant looking decently on the retake to come in from Gambit. And Nikoronis just wasting time, getting that 1v2 together and pushing the Danes up to 7.
And 2 rounds of difference. Gambit still on the back foot. Forced to invest in for this round 13. And Copenhagen Flames, they're also pretty low of their own accord. It's going to be Gambit's chance to reset them entirely and get even more out for this CT half. But either way, we're guaranteed at least an 8-7 to the favour of Gambit. Or at most an 8-7 to the favour of Gambit. Copenhagen Flames, they've done quite a lot of work here on T-side.
Well, I've just had a look. 6 out of the 7 rounds that they have won, Jay, they haven't ever had more than 2 players staying alive. So that kind of shows you, even though they're in a lead by 2, these rounds are close and very competitive. And all it's going to take is that difference maker, the economy game. Gambit might be faced a bit more over towards this A site this time around. When you have a look at the B lane default, you've got 1 player out of the doors position. That's it.
45 seconds. Copenhagen Flames again happy to play passive and careful. 1 lurker in Hooksy. That's going to be pretty much it here. If Hobbit can deal with him, then they'll be able to rotate all their forces back into the B side. But he's making enough noise to draw rotations away. Shiro joins there. Defensive of the Molotov start coming in here for the Copenhagen Flames. The real execution is here to the B site. Hooksy does get dealt with, so that's the first frag for Gambit's favour. Smoke down that. Actually, a flashbang. That doesn't quite catch Inders. They can reface it, including Shiro's AWP. They finally get Ziffon next. Nabi can get that trade back in the centre of the site. So 4 versus 3. Bomb can get planted here.
I'm going to try and see if they can get some of those smoke bang shots in, see if they can deny the bomb. Doesn't actually happen. Man advantage in for the CTs. They're all coming in for the back line.
Flashbang turned away from T-side player's face. Nikoronis brings it back to a 3 versus 3. Blind fire from Hobbit will be so far so unsuccessful. He's keeping them away from this left lane. Starts peeking in instead, finding Axile. Man advantage tips towards their favour and continues to extend on the trades. Roy catching Shiro. And Shiro caught Yabi. It's all on Hobbit, and Nikoronis has him on lock. Copenhagen Flames really outplaying here, Gambit. I mean, they're not out-fragging them, but they're outplaying them most certainly.
No, I disagree. I think that they're playing well. I don't think they're out aiming them or out reading them, whatever it may be. I think Gambit are getting very good reads on the situation. We saw in that post plant the way that they play as a unit, which I really enjoyed. They don't offer up individual duels. Yeah, Nikoronis frags out to get it back to a 3v3. And then from there, every single duel after that, players are peaking together, and that's important.
Yabi kill, double up. Force buy for Gambit here for round 14, indicating they're going to force up for round 15 as well. It's already 2 casualties taken. The likelihood of winning the round is already pretty low for Gambit. SMG in for the Nafani. Finds Hooksy at least. That's something gained for the CTs.
Yeah, it's a pick back. It may be too late, though. You've already got Yabby with a couple of entries from elbow. Now they've got a lot of time to work with. Roy can just sell them on the B fake, just walk up, try and sell as much of a distraction as possible because that bomb is currently in A main. They swing together. Okay, it's an AK that can get picked up now.
The smoke's set, and finally going to make his way up here with the SMG. Back up to Candles, Molotov, forcing him forward. He takes that fight against Ziffon, but Ziffon wins it. The bomb will get planted for it. Gambit have an AK on Intus. Do they want to go ahead and save it? I mean, it's going to be a bit more extra to go in with the next buy-up, but you also force the issue in this round. Not a lot of cash to rebuy with a full set of guns. Intus leans in, sees where Yabby is at. Can't catch him. We'll have to wrap it against Ziffon instead. Completely forward. No, doesn't check the entire corner, leaving Shiro alone in 1 versus 3. UMP back behind the boxes. Trying to isolate these picks. He does find Ziffon at least. Smoke off against the AWP's position. Yabby next up the face, and actually Shiro grabs that kill. Looks in with the third man. He's dead out of time though. Needs to get the full 10-second defuse. He hasn't got time for this. He's got to back off and save the AK now. Nico Otis will at least get baited out. And the kill won't get found. Both players will escape. This Copenhagen Flames will get the better of it. 9 up. Another round to the board.
Yeah, not what they were hoping for there at all for Gambit. Try and see if they can get that 2v3 retake on. Yabby being able to show up in a huge way for Copenhagen Flames. He's putting a lot of opening kill numbers up for the team. He's finding some very tricky positions to outclass and be able to put them in advantage situations is what's really important. And for Copenhagen Flames, up to 9, potentially 10. I mean, really, when you look at the scoreline, you'd be very happy with the rounds they put up.
This half in general has just gone really swimmingly here for Copenhagen Flames. Unexpectedly so. Again, you look towards that CT half as being the main one for the Flames side. So seeing them have this much impact, having this much success, positive things to come here for the rest of Ancient. One more execution set in towards the B-bomb site. They barely even hit A. They need to try and respond, dishing out some damage for Martin. But Nafani comes up with 2 kills, but Yabby deals with both him and Intis. Shiro, set with the AK, burst fire, gets 2 more frags. Drops that bomb, and Nico Odos now alone in the back lines, coming out towards ramp to try and find an entry. All in hand in a 1 versus 3. It seems like Gambit should find their 6. It's in the air, he's up, shot missed, and Shiro will close it out with a triple. And indeed, yes, 3 rounds to separate, but Copenhagen Flames lead up 9-6.
Yeah, I saw more rifling out from Shiro with success than we did actually from Axel, which is something you don't see every day. Gambit will look at that and be slightly miffed that they didn't get more. They kept it at, 5-5 at one portion there, and then kind of delayed, just got out of control. Copenhagen Flames get up to 9, and that actually ties it up with the most one-sided first half they've had in the entire playoffs with their game against Finest that actually was on Ancient.
Our half-time hero is going to be Yabby here for the Copenhagen Flames. He has been a very, very good player for them. 18 kills at the top frag position. Making a lot of work here for the Flames side and forcing a tactical timeout for Gambit before we get into the pistol round. I guess I recognize here that they kind of need to get something out of this one. They need to kind of get the pistol itself. Otherwise, they could be on a severe back foot that they might not be able to recover from.
You got to remember, right, even though Ancient is CT-based, Gambit's T-sides against Harvu were impeccable. They were dictating a lot of pace. They were being able to get some good spacing. The utility usage is on point. Whether we can use that factor here onto Ancient is a conversation. It's just that Gambit know they've got some good T-sides behind them. And for Copenhagen Flames, they put themselves in a good position. They can push themselves in a better position.
Question is, can those T-sides apply to this particular map of Ancient? Statistically, Gambit are far better on the CT half. Flashes over as Gambit try and set themselves up for the pistol execution in towards that mid-control, at least set up for the mid-play. A few more flashes to get into the site itself. They're baiting in a lot of pressure out towards Donuts. There could be a flank involved for Axel. Hobbert's going to draw their attention back. They'll go for the main hit.
Hobbit could just lurk, try and see if he can cut some rotates off, get into that Candle's position. He's not going to get spotted at all.
USP falling back. Hooksy leans in. USP in hand. Glock of Hobbit is seeing him out towards Candles, but he's running to Nico Odos at the same time. Trying to strike on the one player, a bit tunnel vision of that one. And now he's sandwiched as the T-side try and make their work happen here towards the A-side. Great flash in, Ziffon's blinded. Hooksy will find Hobbit, so it's 1-for-1 in the retake.
Axel needs to try and see if he can find a connection. Doesn't happen, and the in-game leader is able to get 3 kills in this round so far. Shiro gets caught off, and Itter's the last one left.
Oh, this round just fell apart quick for Gambit. Awkward timing on peeking away. Into the clock out, trying to clutch it against all 4. He can't do it. Nico Odo shuts him down, and Copenhagen Flames will find their 10th round. Again, it was all down to missed timing there for the Gambit side. Hobbit peeking out towards mid at the worst timing when Nico Odo was watching it. I can't remember who it was looking into Hootsie out towards that donut position, but turning away when he took the peek allowed 2 more kills to come in for him. That is going to suck for Gambit, most certainly.
Yeah, it's not exactly a round of mistakes. It's just a round where you just get timinged. And now we even look at the map 1 winner. And for Copenhagen Flames, their favourites. It makes a lot of sense. They've been playing well in this map. We saw the way that even with the distraction being pulled from Hobbit to try and see if he can bait Nico Erdos away from that A site, Hooksy as well, they're still not really able to find enough connections. And the in-game leader individually of Hooksy has actually been performing at a very high level.
We get even more picks in on this first frag. Hobbit caught off towards mid. And Yabi may have been able to get all the plaudits so far here for the Flames, but I think Hooksy wants a bit of a piece of his own pie. Tease the back of that opening kill and rethink their strategies. The bomb's been left out towards Elwood. Probably get picked up by Shiro. Where do they commit from this?
You'd have to imagine back over to the A site, they can just leave a single lurk or at least some util placement of Inters. If he wants to go out to that elbow position, just show some mid pressure. Yabi's going to be the sole defender of this A site. We'll have a rotator that can come in quite quickly if Hooksy was already striked in the rounds.
Yeah, we've seen him. Looks back for a bit more. Axel catches the damage. The Molotovs are going to drive him out of Temple. Hooksy, similar story here towards the donut position. He doesn't quite go down just yet. Eventually, he's going to catch him with a burst fire. Really good shot to the head, so a 4 versus 4. But Yabi quick to respond. Get the advantage back for the Copenhagen Flames. Can't extend it against Shiro. The ball will get planted.
That still looks decent here for Copenhagen Flames. 3v3, miss smoke out to Temple. Xiphon can actually work with the edge of that smoke and get a sightline into the side.
Nafanis gig up that goes towards him. He thinks he's safe. He thinks wrong about it. Galil in for Inter's going to get his second kill. Can't quite make it a triple. Now Shiro left with 29 points of HP and AK in hand. Headshot found. Trying to see if he can bait out Xiphon. Jump facing. Looking for the info. He's seen him now and he barely evades the shot of that FAMAS. The Incendiary is driving him away. Xiphon can stick the full 10 seconds at this stage. Switch out to the M4. Tap it once. Shiro's not going to peek it. He's too low HP. And Xiphon thinks that he will. He's at the timer run far too low. He'll get that frag, but he will not get the round.
Xiphon had to stick it there. I mean, come on. When you know that Shiro is low HP, you know you've got the Incendiary down, you have to back yourself. Because Shiro knows that he's taken damage. He can't run through that. He runs through the flames to try and see, oh, is someone sticking that bomb? He's going to die. So that is a position in which Xiphon has to stick the defuse, and it just doesn't happen. Doesn't draw out the fight. Copenhagen Flames, honestly, it looked as if, for a moment, that missed smoke from Gambit was going to be the difference maker, that it just caught them completely off guard. And still, Shiro does his own thing, 21 kills and 8 deaths. He's been on fire.
A tactical timeout taken by Copenhagen Flames. Once again, their second in this matchup. Three rounds to the difference here. Copenhagen Flames hold the lead as they have done throughout the course of this entire map up thus far. A couple of even standings for Gambit over the course of this one, but they've never truly had like a lead above the Flames, which is actually pretty respectable here for this team. Again, their map picks, you expect some level of success, and right now they are making it successful. Hooksy's caught first here, Roy's caught second. A bit of hesitation from Yabi almost cost him his life. He's catching onto Hobbit. Shiro will deal with him though, and the A site's now open. He's forced by a round with the pistols, overwhelmed by Gambit easily.
Just realised, Jay, as well, how high the round 2 conversion rate was for Copenhagen Flames. That's now their second loss out of 14 of those situations in this event where they've won pistol and lost the second round. It just hasn't happened, and that may actually be the kickstarter of Gambit's campaign on T-side. We see the force buy that comes back in for Copenhagen Flames, of course. They're on double eco status. They get the first pick on the Hobbit. What else comes of that round? They get overwhelmed on A. The rotators can't find any damage. Gambit get up to 8.
Bring themselves within 2. The Copenhagen Flames lead. Of course, the force by turning into an eco should allow them to get to 9. Just one more, in theoretical terms, for them to make up here. Copenhagen Flames only finding that pistol round so far. That's been it in this half. Let's look towards those rifles in the next one. That's where things can get interesting.
We've seen 2 exits in the last 3 months for Copenhagen Flames in the semi-finals against Entropic in Multivibe Series 1 and against Lyngby Vikings in that FunSpark event that the Danes of Lyngby ended up winning the entire event of. So they definitely know the kind of position they're in today. Gambit up to 8. Copenhagen Flames. I mean, realistically, what can they find out of this round? You've got something on Xiphon and Nico Eidos, maybe a pick. They're actually trying like a mid stack, aren't they? Just hoping that they can catch some sort of lurk out in mid.
With the number of times Gambit's gone towards mid control as well, it makes a lot of sense. But unfortunately, in this round, they're not going to go for mid at all. They have to walk out towards window instead. Shearer's ready to account for that. Recognise that there probably could be a stack in play. Now they've seen them. 2 players, 3 players spotted out by Shearer. Gets the kill on the one-man tag of the second. 1 point of health, though. Needs to get his teammates back in that position. He's landed 2 kills. Nico Eidos has found 1 as well. It's a 3-on-2 scenario. And the Deagle does all the work. Axile. 1-on-3 scenario. Copenhagen Flames. In a matter of moments, they take control.
Oh, they've just been hit with the 1-2 tier 2 equal, haven't they? My goodness, what a round that is for Copenhagen Flames. So many of those kills came through smokes. A double kill with the USP for Hooksy. And now Axile's got to clutch a 1v3.
Smoke set towards the right lane. Back turns, Molotov. Oh, missed Molly. Trying to force out players in at Woods. Hooksy faced upon Nico Eidos. There on angle anyway. Swings ahead of the smoke. And Copenhagen Flames will steal 1 away from Gambit. They will not be happy with that. That was a USP collateral.
Honestly, that is silly. It's one of those rounds. It happens once. It might not ever happen again. Another kill through smoke. They got 3 kills through smokes.
Oh boy. Gambit just gifted a bunch of AKs over the Copenhagen Flames as well, by the way. Not even a rifle round needed for Copenhagen Flames to establish their second of the half. And they can establish so much more for it. Gambit taking a tactical, have to force the buy here.
And they realize that's just unacceptable. Whether it's kills through smokes or not, we shouldn't be losing to an eco. We've got to have better protocols. We've got to have better crossfires. Whatever it may be, they're going to be talking about that. And Copenhagen Flames, just the gift of having all those T-side weapons means that even for the economy, Xiphon, Hooksy, and Nico Eidos don't really need to buy down in round 20.
Axile leaning in here with the AK. Flashbang. In his pouch, can utilize it. Molotov out towards the back of the site here. Incendiaries, all sorts of flashes and smoke set up, but Yabi still lands that frag with the AWP here. The rifle will get picked up by the Eagle player. Xiphon gets 2 frags of his own accord, though. Shiro barefoot and responsive, but it's a 3-for-1 trade. 1 lurker in Hobbit will try to cut off the player over at window. He still ends up falling to Roy, and Shiro's got it all to do here. A full-on ace clutch for the man. And they know he must be creeping up close. They know he must be planning with something, and they're going to try to count for it all.
He's just hoping for a mistake. Hoping to isolate a couple of these 1v1 duels, which just, it tries to happen, doesn't come in. And you can expect when you're going for some of those A executions out of main, that you're going to probably lose the first fight to the AWPer. You need to get the trading game in. And for Xiphon, he's out at Donut. He gets 2 kills before dropping. That's just unacceptable. These entries need to be coming through. And for Copenhagen Flames, they give themselves a 5-on-2 within the initial, first 5 seconds of that contact that comes out.
4 rounds in the lead for Copenhagen Flames. Gambit, Eco, rush out towards A main. Yabi's going to be here with the AWP. Plenty to find. Leg shot landed first. Hooks is there with the AK to back him up. Yabi's going to get a couple of kills involved in this one, make it a triple. I'll be there with a couple of decent trades. No further than those 2 frags for the Gambit side, though. Flames up to 13. Gambit back on guns. They've got to get something here soon.
Hey, you'd have to imagine so. They're running out of chances on this T side. This is probably last chance saloon for me. 8-13 down. Not a lot of money to work with. Only 2,900 loss bonus. Not at the max round just yet. Yabby has been a consistent performer for Copenhagen Flames, and you would normally expect maybe more of the veteran guys to be able to put on good performances against a team of the caliber of Gambit. Instead, it's a youngster that's putting on a good show.
Gambit playing careful around their default for this round 22. Roy thinking of a face, thinking of a wall bang. Ramida's position, at least that's going to be info again for Gambit. They're so tentative about this round here. They know that they're in trouble.
That spam eventually comes in. Inter just getting lined up, timinged on by Roy. They're finally looking for a trade back, and he actually makes it a couple of kills and punishes the over-aggression after the opening pick gets found in Cheetah. All-important spray down for him. Yeah, I'll be watching the A site from back over towards the spawn. The utility in with the CT side. Tries to press the T side in some sort of capacity, but they're all going out towards that B site. Now, it's going to have to come down to Nico Odos, and he doesn't even have an AWP in this angle. Has to try and play with the AK. There's a lot of util for Gambit to work with. Could be a quick rotation in from Yabby. It all just comes down to the timing. Yeah, Yabby is actually going to be able to try and back him up. Leaning in, trying to get to an aggressive position, look into the site itself. Nafani catches the gap in the smoke. Nico Odos there for the trade, though. Flashbang off the wall, will look back in towards Cheetah. Sees nothing, back to the site. He may have been spotted there by Axile. Closed in by two different angles. He's got to win one of these fights. He can't quite do it. Hooksy in a 1v3. Even getting pushed on by Shiro, getting aggressive. That's his 25th kill. Copenhagen Flames, unfortunately there, you could just see that even with the AWP contact with Nico Odos, with Nafani pushed up on the other side of that smoke, almost creates a one-way from him. Great start into the round with Roy getting his first pick. It was this couple of kills, though. That was really the game changer. Yeah, if he hadn't got that play, things could have been a very different story here for Copenhagen Flames. And those trades are the things that Gambit have been struggling with the most here on T side. 9th up to their board. And again, trying to build back up the ground they've lost to the CT forces. 4 to go to equalize, 3 for Copenhagen Flames to take the map up. They've got another buy up with a double AWP setup this time. I think one of the first times we've seen the double AWPs here. Money has been a crucial factor for Copenhagen Flames, why we haven't seen it a lot. We know the Copenhagen Flames don't mind it. Yabby has been playing a lot around that temple position on A with the AWP, now getting backed up by Nico Odos. Inter's taking a lot of early damage to the mollies. Oh, he might fall here. And yes, he will. Nades in. Ziffon credited with the kill. May have heard those tags or may have just pot-locked it. Either way, it comes up with a frag for Copenhagen Flames. And Gambit, they just can't afford to lose these opening picks. If they did that in the last round, they got the trade pretty much instantaneously. They do find one in the end for Hobbit. Yabby caught, smoke back towards Candles, hooks there with another cross responsive for the CT favor, removes all mid presence, and the AWP Nico Odos can strike as well. Shiro next up before he gets that frag. Axar 1v4. Yeah, a situation which doesn't really look winnable at all. 2 players out to this cheater angle. AWP even posted. Wide swing from Axel. Takes a lot of damage. He's now down low on 9 points. This is going to be another simple round for Copenhagen Flames to get up to 14. All going to push ahead. And just the utility usage on point. You've got the double incendiaries that go down, followed up by double HGs. And Insis is having a shocker here in map 1. 4 kills and 17 deaths. Far cry by comparison to his teammates, most certainly. There are some players over on the Copenhagen Flames side that are also pretty low, but it's nothing quite like those kind of numbers. Remember, 4 kills in 24 rounds. That's concerning. 14-9, Copenhagen Flames up against the force buy for Gambit. They win this round, they probably win map 1 here. And Gambit might not even get to double digits. That's the shocking part for me. Roy, thinking about overextending, needs a flash out from a teammate. They peek together and actually enters when he shows up. There it is. As soon as we criticize him as well, play the ultimate cast of curse. Course. That's it. Tech 9 of Axile comes up with another good frag ahead of the smoke. And where was this Gambit all match long so far? Shiro gets Nico Odos. Yabby set with the AWP out towards mid. Does catch one player. Now they have the info. Just get that bomb plant down. Secure this round. Get 10 up on the Gambit board, but Copenhagen Flames known to respond to these Gambit rounds so effectively. Back and forth 4 rounds in a row now. Will there be another one for the CT side? Yeah, it all comes down to this hunt, trying to keep this AWP out of play. Economy's low, and you'd have to imagine, even if there are more T-side players to fall, you've got the wraparound play in from Hobbit, you've got another one on the A side for Shiro, so holding onto this AWP is going to be very unlikely for Yabby. Hearing some of those footsteps, just a bait play, trying to see if we can scope in the AWP, allow Hobbit to swing on. Very well achieved. Gambit up to 10. And not only did we completely curse it for Inters, we actually caused it for Copenhagen Flames not to get up to 15 and take the map. Now they're in a position where, with double eco, kind of need a buy here.
Yeah, I say so too. They will go for the rifles investment, whatever they can get out of this one. 2 M4s in for the CT side. An AWP somehow afforded Nico Odos. Big green gun in his hands. CZD to bolster it all for Copenhagen Flames. So again, the buy is going to be better for Gambit, as you would expect. Flashes up and over, swing in. Sees absolutely nothing thus far. Is there a flashbang to support the Farney's peak? He's thinking about it. But no one gives up the ghost.
Not facing in dry, just making sure they get the information on where the AWP is playing out early from. Even the HE doesn't do a lot of damage. Copenhagen Flames now having the intent of aggressing further into this cheater position. Nico Odos needs to get a mid-pick.
A hunt for Hobbit, who's out there behind the boxes. Shot missed from the AWP. 48 HP from him as he gets tagged up by the AK. And Gambit are forcing the issue against these guns. Roy down low. Nico Odos now tagged to 10 HP to, I believe, a follow-up HE. Or some sort of engagement against him. In the back lines of the B site here. Hobbit finally gets that kill to open up out towards the donut position. A frag. That pretty much cleaned up all the A-side defensive. They've got Hooks. He's so focused on mid that he's going to let them all cross and get plants on the bomb. Copenhagen Flames. Now, no, Hobbit sneaks forward. Does lose his life, so that's at least one trade.
That was a decent at least bait attempts, right? And even now, CTs, what further success they're going to find? Inter's aggressing, Axel aggressing. They've even got a B player. They've got members everywhere. Ziffod and Hooksy, the best that they can ask for is trying to hold on to these weapons. I don't know if they can do that, though.
In from Axel, struggles to deal with the first player and will not stick around for the second man. Ziffon, spray's not quite good enough. And the final will get that kill. So 11 to the board of Gambit. Now within 3 of the Copenhagen Flames lead. Eco basis as well for the CT side. Now, I was about to say that probably should leave Gambit in with a round, but the last time I said that, Copenhagen Flames took USP's collaterals and somehow managed to pull off the round. So I'm going to reserve my my jinx for the time being and see where round 26 goes.
You can't imagine much, really.
Wait
maybe
for it.
Something.
Wait for it.
Oh, they're going to aggress something. They're going to hope, play anti-flash, Shiro, got teammates around him. There's one kill.
What did
oh
I
my
say?
goodness.
What did I say?
It's
Wait
all right,
for
mate.
it.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. 3 kills. It's okay. There's no panic here, Jay. It's all calm.
3 casualties, though. Gambit probably won't be happy with that round.
Yeah, you're probably right, because money's okay, could be better. So for Copenhagen Flames, they'll look at that one and say, right, we get up to 15, we're not going to completely reset them. And the difficult nature is, though, is even if they want to try and target the economy, the Danes only have a couple more rounds to go to win this map.
Any limit will be a good limit to Gambit, so Copenhagen Flames to at least knock Hobbit down to $350. That could be pivotal to them. Down towards the mid control. Hard stacking from the CTs. Look at how far forward they're going to get here. Hooksy engages against one man as Shiro, the AWP, forced to turn his head away. Looking in towards the site, the nades up. The T's getting ready for the B here.
Now, Copenhagen Flames are making info plays in elbow. It's too late, though. The B exec is just coming in. Ziffon does at least strike with that first kill, so damage being done. Hobbit's running through the smoke.
USP catches some damage against him, not quite the kills. Back to Farney and Shiro are also tagged up pretty low, so the bomb will go down. They have the B site at least, but look at the number of positions the CT is going to attack from. Hobbit does find Nico Odos. That's going to be a frag through the smoke. Shiro also finds Ziffon with the AWP, but backstab completes itself for Yavi, who immediately deals with the big green. 3-on-3. Hobbit and the Farney are low. Axel's set to the back lane. Ready to try and cut off the player coming in from the B doors. If Yabi falls, that might be enough to a bit over the finish line, but a flashbang in from a teammate. Both players spray, and Axar falls. Stefani's down next. Hobbit, 1-on-3, sees Hooksy, gets the shot in against him. Flashbang over, Bomb being stuck in. He gets Roy. Oh, Hobbit! Oh my God! 4 kills for him, as he somehow comes up with the clutch.
Oh my goodness, what a round coming through from Hobbit, and it comes down to the veteran to get the job done. Copenhagen Flames, that looked like that round was theirs. The flash over, Yabby getting into ramp, they deal with the angle down on the bomb site of Nafani, and then Hobbit wins this!
That third kill. That was something. That was something. Oh, baby. I feel like Copenhagen Flames might be sent for a tilt off the back of that one. 14-13 Gambit springing into life in this very tail end of the game. And Eagle sees there's a few pieces of Kevlar here and there for the CT side, just setting. Ready to receive. The T's trying to walk up. They're trying to get themselves back into the mid-control.
That's got to be heartbreaking for Copenhagen Flames, knowing the setup they had, knowing the buy, knowing that that was the round that gets them onto 15. They are making a decent lurk attempt. Roy catches off the first, not quite the second. Nico Udos is there with the trade. They've got bomb control.
1-3.
I don't think they knew, did they? I don't think they extended far enough to actually see that bomb.
No, I don't think they did. So that might well be a gamble stack that could lean into a simple A commitment. Shiro's still on the site, so we're going to draw their attention away. Best player right now for Gambit is to take that bomb, put it into the A site, leave Shiro back here, and probably force it safe from Copenhagen Flames to get exit frags. If they can get the 2 AKs out, this will be a successful round again for the CT side.
That bomb's coming B, mate.
It might not now. We've seen those last 2 players. Rotation back for Inters. It's 2 versus 2, and now AK's in both CT hands.
Oh, they're rotating away.
Oh, the mind games, Gambit.
Oh.
Bomb will go
Surely
down.
They go for this.
Yeah, again, Eco, AKs, CT sides, no kit. No, they're going to go for it. They want for the retake.
Hey, you've got to back yourself. 2 kits of armor, and you've got the AKs too. You've got to go in for the attempt. And even for Inters, he's waiting for that wrap. They could just play time on this T side.
AK leaning up, trying to wrap around the corner, look towards the boxes. Again, it's in the wallbang position. Is Defani going to get checked? Back's turn. Seen, tap headshot immediately. Where's the last man? Back to the right lane. Nico Udos takes face and he wins it. The quadra for him the same. And Copenhagen Flames will finally... Will they actually? Hold on. Diffuse kit,
yeah,
not
got
in.
It. Yeah.
Okay, close. But it comes up good. It's map point for the CT side.
Yeah, Copenhagen Flames, that run out from A main, just not knowing how many of those CTs were there for Gambit, and just catching off the individual player of Nafani down in that cave position, just looking the completely wrong way. Seems as if they had complete misdirection on that play. I guess because they've got Inters in the back lines, they're expecting a rat play to come in. Instead, they come up from that right side and just expecting a duel to come out from Cheetah. Copenhagen Flames get a steal.
That's a steal to map point. Aggression coming in towards lane. Engagements from the 1 CT that's out there. I think Inter's going to evade that position. I think they have info on where these players are set towards the back wall, though. All sorts of mid-control. A is completely opened up, and as Axel starts to prod, you might find that info. Nico Udos on rotation, Hoops to push forward a window, gets the kill on Inters to start.
They need a trade back. Axel trying to entry up towards that A side. They've got the bomb to follow. They've still got that lurk in the lane position. Pix trying to come back into the CT side. They've now got themselves only 1 left to Hobbit. The one with the bomb in the temple position deals with the donut angle. He's all by himself.
Can't do much with it. Zipon to close it down. 16-13 for Copenhagen Flames. They take their map pick of Ancient. A bit of an effort there. Gambit made it close, and for a minute you thought the comeback was on, but there were some limiting factors that ultimately cost them this map.
And that was well played from Copenhagen Flames. They composed themselves even after losing that 3v1 situation to Hobbit. And hey, the map is theirs. It's a way into the series. It's a good start for the Danes.
Indeed it is, but with more challenges ahead of them, Gambit might have lost the battle. The war is not over. It's back over the desk to break it all down.
Copenhagen Flames is his pick, and they win it.
Well, yes, very simply put, that is very true. That is very true. An impressive feat, all things considered. That a strong start, and it looks like towards the tail end of the game that Gambit's coming alive, and there's no stopping them. That Hobbit 4K 1-on-3 craziness, you kind of would have thought that that's where Copenhagen Flames kind of let it slip away, but no, they managed to scrape in through an eco win of their own, and they punched their ticket back into the game and then managed to get it off over the finish line.
Yeah, especially that first half, it was just strong enough for Copenhagen Flames getting those nine rounds on the T half, which is famously being said to be the way harder side of things on Ancient. So that was a great half from them. They abused that B side quite a lot. We saw especially Inters having a bit of a nightmare game here on Ancient, having a lot of trouble. Shiro fragging really high, but that in the end wasn't quite enough. And especially the name we've been talking about a lot on the Copenhagen Flames side, Yabi, again making so many things happen, so many positive things happen on especially that T side. I think he's such a key at the moment for Flames on those successful attacking sides.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we're talking about Yabi because there was a round that he was just going mental on B side. He somehow lurked between players and just opened the side up. I think it's this round exactly.
Yeah, perfectly set up there. Finds this one kill from Caven and gets into a position that Gambit just doesn't expect. They think that, okay, Yabi, he's gonna respect the smoke, which absolutely this man, look at his face, just smiling, walking through that smoke, getting into position, and then the trigger discipline, not being happy with this one kill, but gets it all on the B side. And if you look at the scoreline, it was a pretty big round, 5-5. But after this, Gambit only won one round on the CT side, and just look at those headshots. Yeah,
the composure there is just top notch for a young guy. He's friggin' 18 and just gaming out there, making plays like that time and time again. And what I really like about him is just the calmness. And every time he goes for a fight, it looks like he's under control of the situation. And he banged it out this map.
Yeah, and I noticed something else, that they had many situations on Copenhagen Flames' side where they just won outrageous pistol rounds. It felt like Gambit really didn't have any answers to those rounds, and especially in round number 19, something really bad happened.
Yeah, this isn't the Gambit that we've learned to love over the past year, losing to a couple of ecos. This one was maybe the uglier example of those couple. I mean, Copenhagen Flames, they had basically, I think, one deagle USPs, and the USPs even ending up getting most of the kills there. So that's not what we've been expecting to see from Gambit.
Yeah, there was also a close call that came down to only, I think it was 2 players alive from the Gambit side, with a mid-rush coming in from the CT side of Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah.
So unorthodox for Gambit to be struggling so much against these low buy / ecos.
Yeah, and something else that I want to talk about for the final clip is that Hobbit did something insane. It was just a ridiculous 1v3 that even got me screaming.
Yeah, I mean, this is the round where you started to think that the veteranship and the experience from Hobbit just brings them back out of a tough situation where that map point is so close for Copenhagen Flames. Hobbit brings it back in that unbelievable 1v3, especially the second fight. I didn't really think that he was going to win it. Basically, he's just throwing that flash while the Copenhagen Flames player is pushing him. So that's where I'm thinking he gets caught off guard. But no, Hobbit just absolute calmness in that clutch. But then the other side of things, Copenhagen Flames, they don't get too depressed about it. They win the next round.
Yeah, no, that just showcases how, I guess, flustered they never get, no matter what the situation is. Seems like they can just keep everything at a similar level, regardless of the circumstances around them.
Yeah, and as we are going to talk about our highlighted player from Copenhagen Flames' side, I don't think it's a surprise that it is Yabi. He was just posting insane games throughout the game. And here we see him yet again with 30 kills, deaths only 26, and even almost 100 ADR throughout the game. I think those are some...
I think we're running out of adjectives at this point to how to describe this guy. I'm not even sure if we... Like the only thing I can think of right now is that if I'm Copenhagen Flames, I'm a little worried for Charles to be calling.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I was actually about to ask you that, because he has been looking really consistent, and even against bigger teams. Could it be possible in the future that we would actually see him in a better Danish team?
he's on a pretty solid Danish team as we speak, but who knows? I don't know the personality, don't know him, but he's still very young. You know, I'm sure there's still a lot of improvement for him. This is not the peak performing job yet, and still he is posting up these sick numbers. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him somewhere in the future. Yeah,
well, we've seen a lot of players going into Copenhagen Flames and then maybe bigger organizations picking them up afterwards. One that springs to mind is Far League, and I'm sure there's a lot of other examples also. So probably a lot of teams looking at Yabi right now pretty excited about his performances. But right now he's playing for the Flames. They just beat Gambit on Ancient. Things are looking up.
Yeah, and I want to take something else to account that before we actually move on to the next map is that Inters was not having a good game. There were many situations that it just felt too sloppy. He was just not playing a good game.
Yeah, those things happen to all of us. I mean, there was this one round at the end of it where he got double mollied, double naded, and he died off of those where you feel for the guy. It's like, you know, you may as well just unplug your USBs at that point. There's nothing you can do. Things just happen. He had one nice 2K on when Copenhagen Flames was trying to push in. That was the only moment that I can really think of from the whole map where he had some impact. So that's one of those things. They happen.
Yeah, it happens. If you can bring it back on Mirage, then I'm sure we'll forget about this Ancient performance pretty quickly.
Yeah, okay. And Gambit were missing some utility, losing some pistols, looking a little bit sloppy. Will they be alive for the next map?
I'm sure that was a good wake-up call. Losing Ancient and now going into their own territory, you know, I'm sure they are ready for some vengeance.
All right.
Yeah, well, this was always going to be the map in the series that Copenhagen Flames were going to have the best chance to win on. They've been just grinding out this map so much, and they might well be one of the best teams on this map in the entire world. So, yeah, Gambit not happy about the loss, but they've still got two way better maps ahead of them in this series.
All right, and as Ancient goes to the way of the Copenhagen Flames, we are going to take a little bit of a break. After that, it's Mirage.
Red Bull Flick Invitational comes to Helsinki in November. Amateurs challenges the top names in Counter-Strike, like Alex B and Vasa, Dota and Diha, Nico and Hunter. Come and witness live the race for 50,000 euros. Get your tickets now at redbull.fi/Flick.
We are heading into Mirage, and that is the opportunity for Gambit to make the series even. Guys, tell me a little bit about My Rage.
My Rage, well, Gambit played it a couple of days ago against the Finnish squad of Havu, and that was pretty ugly from Havu's side and quite beautiful from the Gambit side, right?
Yeah, pretty sure Havu was, well, not maybe raging, but not having a good time over there.
No.
I think it was a 16-3.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, and it was like an Exile show. He was just gaming over Havu all over the place, and it wasn't really a competition whatsoever. But yeah, definitely the stronghold for Gambit. So fairly sure that they will be coming guns blazing on this one, and a lot of work for the boys at Copenhagen Flames to try to close this out.
Yeah, I'm just already thinking about the CT side. Copenhagen Flames is going to start on that, and it just looks like it's pretty much a nightmare to play against Gambit on this map. Like, no matter what you see from the defensive side, you can't really judge where all the players from Gambit are. They might be double walking underpass. They might have a late explosion from Palace. Actually, might just walk up a ramp and get 2 kills. And okay, maybe you start off the round well. Maybe you get the entry. Maybe you fight it on to a 4v3 advantage from the Flames side. Well, Gambit, they don't really care. They might just still pull a rabbit out of the hat, and they do it so often that it's not just magic. It's basically science at this point.
Yeah, and Axel was one of those players who were having an amazing map on Mirage the last time. Who are the other names that we should be keeping an eye out? Because we already seen Hobbit doing some insane plays over at Ancient. He should be popping on this map too.
Yeah, well, you always look at Shiro. He's able to contribute. AWP, bang, bang. Is a pretty formidable AWP player. So, yeah, fun to watch.
And we have some graphics for the map. Let's take a little bit of a look. Gambit only has 6 times played for the last 3 months, but we know that that's not correct, or it might be correct, but they have a lot of this map under their belt. And it would be interesting to see them play against Copenhagen Flames, even though they have 11 times. And even the win percentage for Copenhagen Flames is 72.7, so it's not that bad of a map for them either way.
Yeah, but what teams have they been playing?
Yeah, the quality.
They beat Havu, Lyngby Vikings, AGO, but no top 20 teams as I can see here quickly. Just look at the match history. Well, Gambit has won it 5 out of 6 times, and the loss was against Virtus Pro, a double overtime. So Gambit just not giving up on this map easily.
And that 16-0 against Entropic. You always give that a bit of a glimpse. Was T-side 15-0 as well. So I think
just unreal consistency.
Something else.
Yeah. If you look at the map all throughout the year for Gambit, also if you want a bigger picture, not just a 3 months, 6 map sample. 27 wins, just 7 losses. So unbelievable consistency Gambit has been able to find on Mirage.
Okay, as we saw Gambit making Ancient just a little bit competitive at the end, we have to ask a question of Copenhagen Flames. What is the real key for them to have a chance on this map against Gambit?
Ooh, patience is key, because like Ro was saying, Gambit is just going to wait for you to make a move, for you to make a mistake. So you got to be very, very patient and then keep on winning situations. I was surprised to see how many 3-on-3 or X-on-X situations after the bomb has gone down or the bomb zone has been lost. How many times Copenhagen Flames were actually the ones to take it? And they got to keep on doing that. It's easier said than done, though.
Yeah, and basically it feels tough, but you almost have to leave that 1B anchor there throughout the whole round and never rotate onto A, no matter what you see, because Axel might just walk in onto the B side, and if it's left open, well, that's an easy side for them, and that's a strat that Gambit is very happy to use, so something to keep in mind for the Flames.
Okay, and just a fan question right here. Will we see an op duel on this map? Important op duels?
Opping is definitely a factor on Mirage. The op can make a lot of maneuvers, a lot of plays. If he gets a good spawn, no matter who it is, if he gets a good spawn for Palace, and go for that peak, connector, window, jumping off of window to short, the ops typically play a big role on Mirage.
So yeah, what you're saying is that they have to just be a little bit more dynamic, maybe.
Well, I mean, they will be dynamic. I'm fairly sure we will see some gymnastics.
Yeah, so we're going to get some good op plays. And on Mirage, well, the next Dust 3 is going to be played right now. I'm going to show it to our casters. Have a good time with this one. We'll see you afterwards.
Well, a battle and a half to get us back into the series here for the likes of the boys over from Copenhagen Flames. They do get the map itself, Dweg, but I feel like this is where things now get in control of Gambit. I do have some concerns in relation to how this team are going to form up with some players not being in server today, but I feel like that off the back of a map that doesn't seem like it's 100% for Gambit, now is where they come into their own.
Yeah, I'm not really worried. It was a loss, right? Map 1, you go into map 2. This is now where you get into the comfort zone. You go into Mirage. We saw some great T-sides on it against Havu. We've seen some good results overall recently from them. And for Copenhagen Flames, this is going to be a test for them. If they want to try and create an upset, they really want to try and get something under here, they're going to have to get started. They're going to have to get more out of Yabi, and that's even going to be difficult considering he did so much in the first map.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the onus is on Copenhagen Flames. Gambit didn't really feel like they knew how to play the 100%, confident of Ancient. I don't feel like it's going to be the case here for Mirage. We've seen them play it time and time again. We know that they've got some great results on it, so I look forward to seeing how well Gambit can do here. They'll start things off on the T side line. Copenhagen Flames got to get an early start here in the pistol for our second map of the series.
Even going into the pistol, we're seeing Kit and Smoke coming through from Hooksy, so he'll probably have to be one of the rotating players. Now, he's actually using that kit on B, and this seems to be an A-set play, so he's going to have to be the one to try and help out the most.
3 players total to defend here. Roy's going to tap forward against the Gambit side, try to take some blind shots. Diffon's going to take some early damage. It's Hobbit with the first kill onto Yabi. First man out of play. Nico is extremely low, and Inters finds that kill pretty easy. Alongside Hobbit coming up with his. Roy and Hooksy 2 to respond. Can't quite find that third pick. Roy's going to still look for Axel on the site itself. So 3-on-2 advantage for Gambit. Still looking for those trades, still hunting for those picks, but Axel's headshot is just a little bit better. So it's a 1v3 for Hooksy on the kit.
And just knows that Inter's playing somewhere around this jungle position, can smoke him off, at least try and open up an idea to deal with the 2 frags on the side. And for Gambit, you just got a jump spotter, just waiting for information. Hooksy trying to see if he can isolate a couple of these duels. He's getting some damage in with the bullets, and Gambit just found so many entries on that bomb site, so much map control being taken away into jungle, into city spawn, and even for Hooksy, he's just running out of time at this point. No one's really peeking. Gambit are playing this 3v1-2 incredibly safely, just knowing we don't need a fight, we just jiggle peek, take a couple of shots here or there, and Hooksy hasn't even presented a kill just yet. Nice like a through for Daphne, and there it is, an extra bit of money to come through. It makes sense. You know that you're pulling the distraction, so get the knife out.
I don't like it when people do that. I mean, it's an early pistol round.
Oh, you love it, mate. What are you on about? You love it when the knives come out.
It's just extra BM. It's just extra BM.
And you don't like that.
To be fair, it is money at the same time. And Gambit, in the early state of the game, they don't want a lot of money. Speaking of money, if you want to take a punt on this game, you can put some money down on Gambit over a cool bet. Or on Copenhagen Flames, you think they can win this map up 4 times on the money line. I can agree with that particular assessment. I think they had a similar set of numbers for their first map. But Gambit should have no such troubles here on map number 2. Force buy-in for Copenhagen Flames.
And they've been pretty consistent, not just in this game, but in general in the Elisa event of Copenhagen Flames' forces and eco rounds being quite victorious. So chance for them to keep some pressure on out to this mid control. Not even seeing much pressure being applied, are we? Copenhagen Flames not even jiggling or looking for a fight in mid.
Backside to press up into the apartments here. Set with the Galil in hand. Nico, his scout, is watching. Expecting there to be some sort of contact. So far sees so little here. Spokes are down towards the mid position. Afani going to jump face. Try to catch Hooksy. Seen as sprayed. Takes that frag. Takes the star.
And now just starts splitting their way into the B side. Nicodos gets punished straight away. The CZ falls in ladder. And they just get picked apart. Ziphon trying to hold with the Deagle. That doesn't happen at all. Gambit have come out of the gates of Mirage and they've just looked fresh, haven't they?
They have indeed. They look a lot more comfortable. Again, I do have some concerns about how they played out on Ancient. I did see some missed opportunities to utilize smokes and executions and little things like that which show that they're not confident on that map. Here on Dust 3, though, they are happy to just take all sorts of control and just out-firepower Copenhagen Flames.
Well, you wonder if they are going to have any surprises going to the major. Again, like Robu said in the desk, Nuke is always their perma, so they always ban that. And it does mean that if you do have a perma ban that always comes in, you have to strengthen on other maps. And it's probably a push in the right direction in the build-up to the major, knowing our Ancient needs some work.
He's getting some real-world match sharpness practice on it at the very least. And they tied up some of those little bits and pieces and probably could still be a decent map for Gambit. Especially against the tier 2 teams, some of those lesser talk squads that will be in the major. Damage done towards Hobbit here is the only real effect the Copenhagen Flames are going to have in the eco. They will find 4 kills on Shira. Pretty easy stuff again against the pistols, and the basic eco is done. 3 out of the start. Gambit now up against rifles.
Now, this is going to be the real challenge you'd have to imagine for Copenhagen Flames. So far, hasn't been all that easy. Now it's going to get even more difficult. Nico Odos 0-3 hasn't been able to get a pick just yet. Shiro just catching these eco frags down in the underpass, nice and easy. Axel even just kind of walks into that B side, sees that it's completely open. Gambit not being tested in the early stages of Mirage.
Galil's out on 3, 2 AKs. Hobbit trying to lean in. Good spray, good frag onto Roy. Yabi's going to find this responsive very quick on the trade to the CT side. Smokes on as Yabi leans up with the M4 Molotovs ahead of the ramp control. Looking for someone to peek forward here, but no one from Gambit's going to give it up.
It all just comes down to the timing on the con peak too. Nico Edo smokes off bottom con. He's playing there with the orb. Yabi repositioning. A lot of noise coming through in that window position, and Nafani just gets punished.
Good shot for Nico Odos. And he leans in. Inter's going to catch off the likes of that CT player, so he saves his teammate in that exchange. Orpra of Nico Odos going to get flashed off as well, so can't really see anything. Does lean back in towards that default position, but nobody is giving up the ghost there for Gambit. There's someone who's going to go back and get the bomb here. It might provide an opportunity for Nico Odos to find an angle. Backstab coming in as well for Hooks. This is going to get a bit more difficult for Gambit. They need that third player to come in from ladder and complete the flank.
And Nico Odos can't overextend with this orb. As soon as he gets up to this ticket position, he's a dead man. Gets mollied off, means that they're going to fall back. A lot of time wasting. Hooksy can drop this bomb.
Here the plant at the very least. Swing a little bit late against Inters. He'll still catch that frag, so now it leaves it on Shiro and Axile. Still letting Axile coming in from that short control. Nico Odos just domes Shiro, and his bomb's not even planted from him, I don't think. Smokes onto it. Try and look for the defuse. As if on gets sprayed up here, and Axile does his damage. Flashbang out of connector. Hooksy now just going to regress. Good catch of the jump face. But Hooksy gets the trade.
Yeah, Gambit just not being able to read that backstab play. Hooksy coming all the way in the wrap into A main, and even Nico Odos has a teammate to peek with him to look back in that stairs angle. Multi-frags are not found at all by Gambit. 3 kills get found all individually by players. Inter's catching off Yabby over-aggressing, but it was really this play from Hooksy and Nico Odos. Even with the AWP shot, decent flick to come through, tight angle to hold on to Shiro. Gets Copenhagen Flames there first.
Yeah, nice start. The guns out, of course, falling the rifle round. Converting to a second fill off, of course, the Gambit, as you would expect there. Available economy state for the C side. Smokes on Incendiaries to stop them here. Always going to get a lot of mid control as a result. Gambit have read it, though. Hearing those smokes extinguish the flames. Flashes to come forward. Could catch them off guard once again. No, Shiro's ready for it. Evades that flash entirely. Just lands that frag.
Just sort of playing anti-flash, aren't they? They're expecting that aggressive move to come in. Nico Odos might get punished by his over-aggression. Run boost can come out from this mid-position. Oh, I might have seen him. There's so many players to deal with, and the fight he peeks out. Ziffon's completely blinded, and that whole setup just gets destroyed by Gambit.
Yeah, Hobbit with the latest frag. 2 left, and Yabby and Hooksy. Nice attempt at getting the kills, just the damage being done to those players, however. All 5 are still alive, and the walkout to B site's pretty opened up. If they can deal with Hooksy on short, then they just have the site itself. There should be a 4th round for the likes of Gambit. Yeah, Axile to get that kill, and it just comes in so easy for them. They continue to have that new lease on life, that new level of confidence in transition from map 1 to 2. 4-1 to the T side start.
And it's probably very good practice for some of these Tier 2 teams to actually play the legit Tier 1 teams, not like the big and the Ences that just lose their games being invited straight into the playoffs. We're talking about the elite squads that in that round right there, okay, first pick, it's kind of understandable. They're trying to make an aggressive info play. They're trying to catch them off guard. The next ones, you've got what? A window player of Nico Odos starting to make an aggressive mid-portion. Then you've also got Ziffon. He was too slow to react. They needed to peek together. They needed to have that coordination tightened. And because they isolate those individuals, it just means that there's no way of a trade for Ziffon.
Ziffon's on 0-0-5 so far in terms of his frag assists and deaths. Not had much of a chance to really get going. In general, Copenhagen Flames numbers are pretty low because they haven't had chances to get frags. Gambit have just found those kills so easy and disallowed any opportunities here for the Flames. Yabby take his deagle in here and try and put him to the hurt. He's only had a single frag so far in this map up in the early days. Axile, AK set in the Farley's crossfire. They do find the kill on Yabby to drop that bomb. Axile's there for the quick responsive, so all that CT control gets removed from play.
The whole game just has a vibe of a very slow and methodical playstyle. Very unsimilar to how Fiend and Lingby was. That was more pacey, more in your face, more sort of crazy Counter-Strike. This time around it's more slow and passive, and even in this round we're seeing for the Eco Pistols, they're doing some decent damage.
Well, another kill for you, Odo. So Hooksy comes up on Inters. What's going on here, boys? Gambit's about to lose to another Eco to Copenhagen Flames. That is at least the second time in this series. We had one over on Asian, and it kind of came out of nowhere there.
Yeah, they've been pretty awful on the anti-ecos is the best way of putting it. That is just another round that so many picks get found by a light eco. Hooksy with the deagle hits some pretty banging shots. Still, though, it's no excuse. Gambit should not be losing rounds like that.
Triple in the round for that man. Now an AK in his hands, as rightfully so. 3 AKs here for the Copenhagen Flames. But you're right about that. Gambit.
This window smoke.
Or, okay, now I'm starting to get a bit concerned now. Losing to an eco like that, missed utility, much like how it was missed utility over on Ancient as well. I'm not sure where this one goes now. At least Gambit have the buy-up, at least they have those full guns in. But they cannot afford to concede more here.
Even with these slight mistakes, you definitely can't start pinning Copenhagen Flames to start pulling ahead and start actually doing a lot of damage. You can expect them to keep the pressure on and try and see if they can punish some of those mistakes. Even with that mid-portion, with window not being smoked, we're not seeing an over-aggressive play. We saw a boost up on that short position for Hooksy for a little while. Didn't quite see anything, so they back off of it. Gambit start leaning back over to the B side, perhaps.
Mafani walking out with the AK, the flash over. Now the peek in, turned away from Ziphon, leaving up with the AK of his own. Misses his spray. Ziphon's going to get a chance to get a kill, but no. Ziphon wins out that fight, secures that short control for the Flames.
Yeah, Hooksy just posted up on this van position, got a teammate to back him up. Rotate can come in quite quickly from Roy and Gambit. They've got to act.
Molotov in, Hooksy driving away, 20 seconds to the hit, and Ziphon and Hooksy set with the crossfire. Roy's going to catch off one player out towards bottom and mid, so Hobbit's going to fall, and Gambit are just going to fall back and save their weapons. Too much resistance here on the CT side, and there's not really much the Russians can do about it. They've got to call in the safe call. It's just way too low on that timer, and it will be 3 to the board of the Danes.
It seemed as if they were really hoping that Hobbit was going to find a mid play. Roy was keeping the angle held and just waiting for that wrap, waiting for the lurk attempt to come through. And once that happens, 3v5, you don't know how stacked up that B site is. Numbers are low, not a great amount of utility. Just hold on to weapons, bring it into the next round. Take that tactical. And Gambit, not only was the first map a wake-up call, but going into round 8, you'd have to imagine is going to be a wake-up call as well with their performance on Mirage.
Tactical take in here for the Gambit side. Again, probably shouldn't be getting off on this much of a loose state. Copenhagen Flames still with the 3 AKs and the AWP out. Plenty of rifle firepower for the CT side, and Gambit have got to counteract it soon. Imagine what a shock it would be for Copenhagen Flames to win out this map against Gambit. I know it's so early. I'm not calling it yet. But with the way this is going, my confidence has been rocked by Gambit.
Yeah, they could definitely try and keep it competitive, that's for sure. And they're not going to get blown out of the water like Harvu did on this map. Back into that top mid position. Seeing that Incendiary goes down, will force Nafani out to that left-hand side. Gambit have a lot of players outside of A.
Mostly in the ramp and palace positions. One player up towards top mid may also be joined in by a teammate who's a little bit further back. Just sitting here for the time being, and we'll start to take some amount of mid control. Gambit are going to wait for this setup to split into the site.
Now, Reesimo goes down to bottom of Cotton. Couldn't be timed any better. Nafani receiving some HE damage and just the util usage on point here. Gambit going to start to sneak their way up through connector. There could be no eyes on this.
Ziphon can't see it. Exile start walking into the smoke, starts to fade. Perfect chance for Ziphon to get that kill. Back to turn to scene. Spray on the one man. Yabi able to get Hobbit out in the open, still engaging in towards that ramp control. And finally gets that one trade. Yabi still holds. Is he going to get flanked from Palace? As Nico Rodgers with the AWP onto connector. Deals with that presence with these last two players left at Indus and Shiro. Utility down, flashes over Nico Rodgers, lands against the last man. It's all for Shiro in a 1v4.
No, they've definitely done their homework, Copenhagen Flames. You can see by the util usage, the way that Ziphon's able to get into that short position. And for Gambit, they had, what, 2 con players? No one is looking up at that short angle. No one mollies. No one smokes it off. So it just allows a free sightline in. And from there, you can just start pulling distraction. Shiro's even going to fall to Yabi, aggressing in from Palace. Copenhagen Flames adding more to the tally. And so far, they look very composed in that last round.
4 apiece. Gambit and Copenhagen Flames have gone blow for blow here on Mirage. Surprising fashion as well. I thought Gambit were going to have no issues, but a couple of decent rounds for Copenhagen Flames. Mistakes still being made here by the T side. The Eagles, Tech 9, a PT 50 for Hobbit. And the T's up and out. into the apartments. Isn't on the pass, try to play a fast kind of round. It's a bit of an eco, so it kind of is just to take it on the chin, see if you can get a bomb plant, see if you can get some damage. Not really focusing on too much here.
It is still early into Mirage, but so far so good for Copenhagen Flames. This is a chance for them now to not lose much to the eco. Normally it's been Gambit really struggling against these anti-ecos. Let's see what it's like the other way.
One player drops down, Hooksy adjusts towards him, nice kill. And T-Side completely evades all of the apartment face back towards mid, one player in ramp. A minute on the clock for Gambit's action. Farney, 2 taps the Eagle. Does not get the kill to Nico Odos. The nade finishes off the job towards him. It's 5v3.
Just getting picked apart. And so far, the Deagles haven't been able to find much success at all. And I like the Copenhagen Flames are still playing this quite passively, not making info plays, not overly aggressing unnecessarily. So hold your angles, play defensive on the sites. And for Gambit, they're going to end up on A. It just depends with how many picks.
30 seconds. Good shot for Nico Odos. Roy finds enters and Hobbit in a 1 versus 5. Does try to find his bomb plant. Oopsie is making noise. And Hobbit does not win that fight. Nice attempt, not to beat. And a lead now for Copenhagen Flames.
I guess, too, what does make it easier with these Tier 1 teams is because there's less data and they don't play as many maps on record as maybe some of the Tier 2 teams does. When it comes to preparation and it comes to downloading demos and watching all of that, it's got to be easier against the Tier 1 teams because you've got less sample size. You try and read a Copenhagen Flames on Ancient, are you going to sit there and watch 20 demos in the last 3 months? It comes down to sometimes less is more. And that could be the advantage from a couple of these underdog teams when they face off against Tier 1 caliber, is that because the Tier 1 teams play less, there's more to look at.
Second tactical timeout to make the adjustments here for Gambit. Losing the lead and losing out pretty heavily to the Flames at this stage. Lead game by the CT Forces, of course. What's the adjustment? We've got the rifles out at the very least, and there will be AKs across the entire T-side board. Still the exact same 3 AKs, single M4 and AWP. Copenhagen Flames, the setup has worked well so far. Nice to get the 4th M4 into a 4th AK. As it stands, though, it's just defaults coming in from Gambit. No chances to get any of those rifles at the moment for the CT side. They'll just dish out some damage. T's walk into mid.
Trying to have more approach of making it difficult with the time required to be able to get this mid control. Finally going to put down a top con smoke to siphon off Roy in that jungle area. And for Gambit, so far on these mid walks, they haven't actually managed a massive amount, and there it is. It's Roy actually getting the kill, just a straight spam.
Training against the Farney, man down. Far out, AK in for Hooksy, a little bit awkward with his engagement. He doesn't quite lose it, but takes a bit more damage instead. Hobbit, M4 leaning, does not catch Roy. Sees Yabi instead, but Roy turns back in at the right moment. And again, timing's going to work well for the Flames.
That was a sick play to come out from Roy. Just could not have timed that any better. Backing up his teammate to perfection. And for Gambit, that was a hole that they thought they had exposed. Walking up to connector, getting into that stairs position, trying to open up the A site, and Roy's got a multi-frag.
The AWP set for Nico Odos, backed up here at the CT stairs. Any for even more Gambit presence. The flashbang in is going to blind him in part. The AK of Yabi going to get back out of dodge. Try looking for Inters in the next frag. 20 seconds, Gambit have got to make them move in. Inters looking towards Dark to see where Yabi is. Yabi going to get his kill alongside Roy to make it a triple. Bomb dropped. Shiro, lone man standing out towards ladder room. Just got to hold on to the weapon here. Copenhagen Flames, a 6th clean round for the CTs. Gambit, not exactly the start we expected from them. Went 4-0 up at one point. Copenhagen Flames have found 6 in a row.
It just feels as if they're playing to the fullest of their potential. We're starting to see what Copenhagen Flames can be like, tested against the very best, and they're holding themselves well. Kill distribution is decent. Everyone's finding impact. And just the amount of T-side weapons they've been able to hold. We've seen, what, 2 or 3 AKs at probably minimum being saved in every single round for the last 4 in a row as such.
Now those 4 AKs can come in for Copenhagen Flames. Guns out, cross the boards. T-side trying to find a 3-pronged attack into the A site. 3 players out of Palace's Axel with that first kill. Yabby to line up 2 players. Gets only the 1 frag for it. But Ziffon's there to find Axel. Lean back in against Hobbit. Spray not quite as great for Yabby. He's running out of bullets. Tapping his way onto victory. But can't connect those shots. So it's a 3 versus 3 instead. Roy looks up. Out of dark. Into pops out. Hobbit seen. Next player seen is Shiro. Hobbit gives up his life to a 2k for Roy. And Shiro in a 1 versus 3 clutch scenario. As great as he is, he's not going to win this one. 7 to the board of the Flames.
Poor spacing there for Gambit. Roy is just able to pick him off. Notice how you've got 3 players, in Palace, 1 on the floor and 1 sort of around that Tetris position. If they just slow that down for Gambit, they can swing together, swing as a unit and allow a dual peek. Instead, that doesn't happen. Roy does a fantastic job of wasting time, repositioning back out to that stairs position and just isolating all of these 1v1s.
Gambit starting to feed themselves to the Copenhagen Flames. And I'm starting to get worried. Yes, it's a CT side for the Flames. I understand that. But as you mentioned over on Ancient, Gambit have got some amazing T-sides under their belt. Why are we not seeing that here on this map?
Again, I think it's the caliber of opposition they faced from Harvu to Copenhagen Flames is not even in discussion as being the same. Yeah, Harvu is starting to come back. They got Yemi back into the lineup. They're starting to rise up the rankings. Copenhagen Flames did incredibly well on LAN at the RMR. They've started to push themselves into 15th in the world. They dealt with Finest and Fnatic without even the Fnatic game dropping a map. So the level of competition is raised, not by a massive amount. Definitely not to the caliber that they're used to playing. It still has.
Nades on, Axile tagged early, Hooksy jump facing incendiaries. T-side players make their way out. Ziffon finds his kill, kicks things off with the right foot. Hooksy back of jail, keep his eyes set towards Inders, gets his double up nice and efficient, looking for the triple, not quite against Stefani. The Tech Knight gets that one responsive. He can dive out. Meanwhile, the bomb gets dropped out towards Palace, so unfortunately there will be no real bomb plant bonus for Gambit here. 8 to the board of Copenhagen Flames, 4 in the lead. The T's have another bye.
And we've heard quite a few interviews from Hooksy over the course of the playoffs where he's kind of spoken about all the hard work and all the homework he does, and maybe he's not the most individually skilled player. Both map 1 and map 2, individually, he's been striking. He's been hanging with some of the top fraggers for Copenhagen Flames. And it's always a good sign knowing your in-game leader is stepping up in those crucial matches, those high-pressure situations, like a game against the second-best team in the world.
Well, regardless, even if Copenhagen Flames get reverse swept from here and just lose all the rounds in the next 2 maps, they can still be proud of the fact that they got a map win above Gambit and still took it close on their own pick. A lot of positivity Copenhagen Flames are going to walk away from this series with. Gambit start looking at try and maintain their position 1-for-1. And Ziffon on Axel with the first couple of trades.
Now, opening man advantage lasts about half a second and gets traded back incredibly quickly. And for Gambit, out to these mid defaults, we haven't seen a lot of over pushing. Roy with the nade back onto Axel, another nade coming in. The chip damage is fantastic.
Just tagging Axel down to less than 50. M4 leans up for Roy, looks out and over into the connector control. Still spotting nothing, just jump facing. Flashbang comes over and the T's make their way up. Yabby, M4, set and ready. Molotovs counteracted by flashbangs. Dark's not going to get cleared out. There's nobody there from the Flames. Is anyone going to check sandwich? Enters Will. Yabby still wins that fight. Looking for Navani next up. No support. Util and Roy can get his triple as he turns back towards connector, having lined up 2 players out of ramp. Man, Copenhagen Flames are doing everything to counter Gambit here.
They're doing everything right, is the bottom line here. Roy peeking on the contact, getting a good timing, showing up, and he's been getting a lot of multi-frags. You have a look at all of the rounds. You go back and watch this demo of Roy. He's playing in jungle, he's playing top con, in and around that position on the A side, and he's getting a lot of damage. And just this streak, 8 in a row to come in for Copenhagen Flames. Haven't seen a single bomb plant for Gambit.
Remember how before we were talking to Fiend after their series, and they were saying it's going to be a tough series for Copenhagen Flames? Right now in this map, it hasn't quite felt that way. Gambit, half buying in for round 14, will get a buyback for 15, but if they go 11-4 down, where does that leave us?
Well, it leaves us thinking about the rematch, doesn't it? The match to qualify for the major, Copenhagen Flames versus Fiend, only very recently.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about of grand finals here. 50K on the line for first prize. Gambit, they don't want to be thinking about that. They want to be thinking about their split into the B side. Nico Erdos having eyes on short.
Smokes in, Tech9's out, M4 for Hooksy, just can't hold on. Hobbit gets his frag, burst fire from Ziffon, trying to look for these players, trying to look for these picks. Axtile flashes way forward, Shiro can't turn the AK into a frag. Finally, some decency from Gambit, a 5-on-3 advantage. Roy will try to get some trade started, he finds Axtile, Shiro's low, Hobbit's on 2 points of HP. Engagement against Shiro wins that fight, Hobbit can trade it right back though. 3-on-2 advantage, 2-on-2, standing at evens. Copenhagen Flames have the guns now. Finally picked up an M4 into the deal up close here. Around the corner of the pillar, yeah. B takes face, takes fight. Nafani held out towards short. The bomb's not even planted for him. And Nico Erdos will get that kill in regardless.
Oh, well handled. They looked very coordinated on that retake. Even for a moment, they seem as if they're down in the dumps. Those B anchors just got destroyed. Those were some great entries that came through from Gambit. Get that bomb down, you start thinking to yourself, oh, okay, how's this going to go? Hobbit striking with the Deagle, the pick coming on from Shiro to the Apps player, and then just start overwhelming. Roy and Co coming back in for the marker position, and they take it like a breeze.
Double digits for the Flames, at least a 10-5 half as it stands 10-4 to their favor. Gambit can still make it a fifth. But man, none of us were expecting this. Don't even think Gambit were expecting this. Nades up, smokes down, incendiaries up towards that top mid control. Nico Erdos going to try and dish out some damage, and he was successful in the interim. Start out tag against the likes of Hobbit. Not quite below half HP, but it's still damage being done.
Now, Gambit are just desperate for a fifth. Just end the half on a positive note. Give yourself a way back in. Copenhagen Flames, they're playing triple con setup.
I'll be ready for Gambit's split play. Going out from underpass to maintain mid control. Top mid gained as well. I have a good read here on this one. It depends where Gambit go with this. That bomb can commit to either side.
I think Erdos just hoping for a gap in that smoke. Roy actually dies to the spam, and Anthony, we see at least Ziffon trying to get back in. There could be a walkout to the A site as well, and Nico Erdos is just expecting a window play.
Deagle waiting, takes his swing. Shiro there to catch him off at a 5 versus 3 now. Copenhagen Flames doing one man in the back of the B side, getting out to market. 2 players out towards the A side. Shiro lands his frag onto Yabi. A second onto Ziffon as well. Hooksy well away from position. 1-on-5. Just much more methodical round here from Gambit. The kind of round we expect to see from this T-side line. And indeed, they will find their consolation prize. A 10-5 half still for the Flames. Gambit transitions to the CT half.
I don't know if it's enough, to be honest. The Copenhagen Flames have really brought themselves into this game. They've played well on Mirage, and we didn't really see a lot after a 4-1 lead. You have a look at having 9 rounds in a row, finally being answered back. Individuals not really showing like they normally did, and Roy, the oldest guy on this lineup, has been a crucial part to their success in the first half.
Already rocking 15 kills for the man. 113 ADR. Posted up the numbers here for the Flames, and definitely has been the important element to allow them to get as far as they have. But it's not just him. There's been major support surrounding him. There's been a great tactical basis employed there by the Flames on the CT side. Can they transition it over to the T half? Gambit now have a chance to start making up some decent ground here, but they've got to get a pistol round in. If they lose this, Copenhagen Flames will be within a bit of a close shave of the map victory. Intas knows he doesn't want that. It's him and Nafani to defend the site. The Fuse get on Nafani. Hobbit gets that first frag. Nice and easy out towards Rat. But Roy and Yabi there with trays, and they make it 3 for 1 on the response.
Great entries going down to that B-side. Shiro even coming out for Mark and can't find anything. Another triple kill round coming into Roy. And Copenhagen Flames, they try to sell the fake. Cooksy was the A player. He was trying to over-rotate them. They come out of the apartment, and even though they lose that first fight to Hobbit, they start striking straight away. Gambit just getting overwhelmed. Roy with a class round again.
Okay, now it's time to be concerned here for Gambit. Now it's time to be very concerned. I know you don't want to play the full capacity and like reveal strats to the major and such, but
no excuses.
Yeah, no, I was about to say, like, I don't see that as really being a reason why you should be losing out on this respect. Like, the Gambit side, we know, should be able to out-frag, outplay Copenhagen Flames. We know that they're great at tactics. We know that they're great at firepower. It feels like something's missing right now.
Yeah, it's Copenhagen Flames showing up. That's what's missing and normally and not coming here today. Copenhagen Flames... It does start to show. I know that you're not quite sold on it, Jay, but the best of ones, it wasn't a fluke. They really showed up on land. These guys were getting praised by everyone.
On the best of three context, they definitely made it happen so far here in the playoffs, so credit where it's due. And here against Gambit, this would be a shocking result for this squad. And for this organization, it probably would be par for the course, honestly. Again, they're the one team that were able to defeat Gambit in their prime. Axel finds Diffon at least, gets one exit frag of the MAC-10 involved. A force buy, of course, for Gambit in this round, so they kind of wanted to go for the round itself. But with that AK, it might be better to call in the save call, cut their losses. Diga the Shiro will stick around, try to get more exits, but even he'll back off to Cubby.
Shiro just getting overwhelmed. Dual peek out to that city spawn area. Gambit just going to hold on to the last couple of weapons that they have. Nicodos even getting that backstab in from top mid. Struggling for the Galil. Does at least get that one pick. So it should be that AK being recovered for Axel. 12 on the board for Copenhagen Flames. And again, to go back to the history books, the 9th of March 2021 was when we saw Copenhagen Flames in the quarterfinals of Snow Sweet Snow 2, upsetting Gambit. In their prime, like you mentioned, they were winning a lot of events up until that point. I think they were the 4th highest rated player going into that match, or the 4th highest ranked team, I should say, going into that one. And they lost the best of 3, 1-2. It was Copenhagen Flames coming out on top. Yes, it was a slightly different lineup. Basilian Manx, Nodius, Yabi, and Nico Odos. It's still Copenhagen Flames.
Kind of feels poetic if this tournament this final took place a week earlier, because we would have been exactly 1 month, 7 months to the day of that defeat. Copenhagen Flames taking apart the likes of the Gambit side. As one good pistol kill for Nafani. And Diffon comes up with a kill out of the apartments. Only that one frag though. Shiro trying to hold on a decency, but ultimately this eco is going to get cleaned up. Teammates for Copenhagen Flames, 3 alive, and they lose a couple of AKs in that one. And a true buy back in for this half. Gambit need to take this rifle round. If they can't do it, then we will be in trouble.
It's wherever the star players. Where's the Shiro that dropped an average 1.45 rating in the RMR? Where's Axel that dropped an average 1.22 rating and put up ridiculous numbers? We're seeing both of the star players not really finding a lot of form, not a lot of impact here on the second map of their map pick, and Mirage. Copenhagen Flames, I mean, they're even running Hooksy on a MAC-10 going into round 19.
Mentioned in the last map as well how Inters has had a bit of a shocker over on Ancient. Similar story right here for this map. 2 kills deep for him. Nafani on 9 kills, his first casualty in this round. Copenhagen Flames catching Gambit off form, tearing them apart. Imagine they meet them like this in the major. Like, that would be something. I know that it's a very different environment, LAN, online, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's going to make all the caveat points, but the results don't lie. We're 2 for 2 between Flames and Gambit. It will be if this keeps going on this way. Damage has been done to Yabi and Hooks. There's trade potential, but there's a lot of work that Gambit need to do outside of this round to get themselves back in.
So they've got a lurker Roy down in bottom mid, just trying to see if he can cut the rotate. A lot of damage has been done. Inter's actually striking back to a 4v4. Seeing that bomb drop down, Axel gets swung on, but the CTs are rotating into B and finding a lot of connections. Inter's with 3.
Every time we call out Inters for having a bad performance, he comes up with a multi-frag round. 3 kills for him, makes it a quadra. Copenhagen Flames capitulate on the execution here. AK on Roy, 1v4. Axile's going to secure that final frag, and Gambit will finally get their first of the CT side.
It's an answer. It's a way back in. Inter's on the off angle, looking up to that window into the apartment. And you mentioned 2 kills. Look at the turnaround. Look at how he's able to strike, have that crossfire being set with Axile in the short position. Those rotators coming in from the market angle as well. Gambit need more, though. Yeah, we can sing and praise their performance in one particular round. They're still down 6-13.
M4's up for Nafani, looking up towards the mid-control, trying to get aggressive and continue the hurt against the Copenhagen Flames. Of course, force buy for the T side. Nades involved for Inters. I think they're a little bit too shallow, I say that, and the nades actually timed well against Xiphon, who starts to move up and does that tag to 60 HP.
Yabi going for the mid-walk, in with a teammate Nico Erdos still at that top mid position. Very dry. They don't have a lot of util to work with at all. And even for Yabi, he could get caught off by the AWP Shiro that peeks up from this ticket area. They do smoke off top con, so it allows him to sneak in.
Walks involved. The AWP is going to catch Yabi somehow. Barely even seen him. Takes a dink off against him. Falling back, the flashes over Inters. Trying to lean in towards the T-side line. Axile getting up to position. Spray through for Inters. Catches Xiphon next. 5 versus 3. Seeing Roy. Shiro comes up with the next frag on towards Roy. Inters can make it a double, almost a triple. Hooksy, bomb on his back. Could possibly secure the bomb plant, but CT are so close here, and they're going to try to counteract them.
Yeah, you got to imagine, just get the bomb down safe. Give yourself that extra cash injection. Put that smoke out, expecting the CTs to work around it. And now he's pretty much given up the timer, so there's no real way he's going to be able to get this bomb down. Has to try and face him for the short position. Could actually fake it, draw out the five. They're going to peek in, and they don't deny the bomb. That's some extra cash.
Don't think it'll be enough to go for a full buy, though. Money is going to be a little bit tight for the Copenhagen Flames. They probably do find themselves a half investment, and then probably go towards the next gun round. Have a look how it looks specifically. Yeah, that's probably the best call.
Yeah, buy down to what? 2K floater. You got 2,400 in the next round, so you can invest ever so slightly. Can we say that was a missed opportunity? There was a lot of damage done onto Shiro. That could have been the opening man advantage coming through from Yabi with that Galil, just not quite finding that fullest of connection.
The pistols out for Copenhagen Flames. The Eagles Glock P250. Gambit should be on for their 8th round. A basis to build back against the Copenhagen Flames. Those 5-round differentials that they struggled to bring back over on the first map could become a problem here for the second one. M4, Nafani in towards that mid-control with Axile leaning up to try and catch players off the Copenhagen Flames. In the areas ready for Inters. Holding down the apartments. Will keep Xiphon at bay for now. Push up for Roy.
Copenhagen Flames have done some work on these ecos, haven't they, over the course of this series? Map 1 and Map 2, they've done a lot of damage. Nafani does take some damage to a dink that came through the wall for that Deagle.
Nice damage done at this stage. It could be a trade, but as the T's fall, eventually Roy will catch that frag. So there you go. 1 pick. Second pick. Okay, Hobbit's nade. Able to finish him off so it doesn't hold on for